I really messed my morning up, man. Everything was going just fine until your boy comes in here with like, oh, Kyron Williams is going to be out for multiple weeks. He'll be out until week 10. I don't have until week 10. I'm going to play Roshan Johnson this weekend. He plays for the Bears, who's everyone knew coming into the season and no one was duped by, stink. Spent an entire offseason saying that. They're going to be the worst team in all of football.
That's what you said.
I kept saying that.
That's what you said. Okay.
God. Thanks a lot, jerk. Who are you? What is he even doing here? Just bring your buddy to work day? Is that what it is?
He's trying to learn a little bit, I think.
For here?
Yeah.
What the hell's he going to learn? How not to do things? You want to get ahead in life, go check out Glenn Clark Radio. And then remember, whatever you do, don't do that. Don't do that. Good morning. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I am Glenn. Griffin is here, and joining us in the studio this morning, PressBox intern this summer, right? Now? Yeah. Why do I feel like you've been here for a while? All right, never mind. I lied.
Been doing that great of work, I guess.
But is that what it is? It's just been that memorable? PressBox intern currently, like I've always said. Obviously, that's what it was. There are two things that people know about me. It's that everyone knows I thought the Bears would stink this season, and that I knew that Jake Shindel had been with us for only a few weeks and was interning in the fall. Those are two things, character traits, frankly, about me that people know. Jake is a student at Towson. He's involved with the Tower Light over there, and he's been interning for Luke Jackson at PressBox, and he just wanted to come in, hang out this morning. It's good to see you, Jake. Thanks for stopping by.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Got to get right up on the microphone. That'll be the first lesson that we'll have. Jadeveon Clowney was struggling with that last night, so you are in good company.
Awesome.
How's your edge rush skills? How's your pass rush win rate?
Probably not as good as Jadeveon.
Not this season. Maybe last season, but this season it's quite good. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us. We'll talk to you a little bit as the show goes on. A lot to do on the program today. Coming up this hour, we're going to preview the Detroit Lions with my buddy, Lions color analyst, former offensive lineman, Mr. Lomas Brown will join us as we talk about the new America's team. He is the color analyst for their broadcasts. We are going to choose to bring you segment number 1 of the Tyus Bowser Show a little bit earlier than we typically do. We're going to bring it to you this hour, and the reason we're doing that, of course, is because John Harbaugh said, well, you're going to have to talk to him. Well, we did. We talked to him. I'm not sure that it's going to provide you the clarity that you're looking for. I'm just going to be honest about that, and we can talk about it, but we asked him, is there some big announcement? There's some, cert. We'll let him respond. So we had a great night last night. Thanks to everybody who came out to, boy, did we have a crowd last night. Oh, my God. Mother's North Grill in Timonium was packed to the gills. There were people that were there all night that I didn't even see. I'm walking out after the night's over, and Luke Jackson is just sitting there. I'm like, hi, Luke. It was crazy last night. It was wild, man. But thank you to everybody who came out. We had a wonderful time, and thank you to Jadeveon Clowney, who not only came out and was gracious with his time, but seriously, one of the bigger crowds that we've ever had for the Tyus Bowser Show, and he was awesome, and he stayed there late, tried to take care of everybody and let everybody get a picture and autograph. It was overwhelming. If you missed last night's Tyus Bowser Show, it'll be available throughout the week on this show. It's available in the archives. You can listen to it on 105.7 The Fan on Friday night, and then don't miss the next one. We will not – normally we do every 2 weeks, but 2 weeks from last night would be Halloween, and we feel like everybody's going to have plans. We don't really feel like competing with that. So we bumped it back a week, and we will do the show on November 7th. So we're going to have a 3-week hiatus. November 7th will be the next Tyus Bowser Show as we will return to Guilford Hall Brewery in Station North. Come hang with us on November 7th for the next Tyus Bowser Show. And then also this morning, Terry Hasseltine, Executive Director of Maryland Sports. Big week. The Maryland 5-Star gets underway tomorrow out at Fair Hill. He'll tell us about that. Also, Maryland, a lot of interesting connections. This announcement this week about all the new Olympic sports, flag football, cricket. Yeah, I say new. Baseball and soccer aren't really new. Olympic sports. They just, for some reason, it's not baseball and soccer, baseball and softball. For some reason, they come and go. It's a weird bit where they're like, we're not sure this is a sport. Well, it's baseball. Yeah, we don't know. We'll take it off. Look, I do have opinions about this subject with baseball being in the Olympics, because I've always said it's the goofiest bit every time you get to the Olympics. And you're like, and now all of the greatest athletes in the history of their sports, and also a beer league baseball tournament. It is bizarre. So I actually don't know that I have a problem with baseball being excluded from the Olympics, because you're never going to have the players involved. So it's just like it is the weirdest, the greatest swimmers in the world, the greatest track athletes in the world, and then some guys. Some AA baseball, some independent league baseball players are here to get the same gold medal as everyone else gets, despite the fact that they are very clearly not the best players in the world. It's a weird bit, man. Really weird bit. But, of course, also lacrosse was added. There's a lot of impact there, right? Like, I was just out at USA Lacrosse this weekend. Like, it's a huge deal for the state of Maryland for lacrosse to now be an Olympic sport. Terry Hasseltine will talk to us a little bit more about that. If you're not familiar with Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse, for example, over the summer, that is the concept, sort of, that they're going for with Lacrosse Sixes, which is what's going to happen in the Olympics. So Terry Hasseltine will tell us a little bit more about that. And we'll play Would You Rather Wednesday. I am slow. I posted it. Maybe we could probably just leave it at I am slow, I guess. I should probably just cut off the sentence there. I think I'd be all right. Anyway. Yeah, so we will talk, or we'll get into Would You Rather Wednesday, and I'll get it posted here at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. It is up on Facebook, facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio, if you want to get your responses in. Yeah, remember when I said I thought that the Diamondback series was more over than the Astro series was yesterday?
Yeah, I guess you were right about something.
Yeah. That looks like a team that ain't ready. Like... I really don't know what the story is in the Dodgers. Like, how can the Dodgers have gotten swept by that team?
The rest.
It really is just the layoff. That's all it is. It's just the layoff. Because, my God, man. Like, that team looks about as shell-shocked as it gets. And I get it. The Orioles, pissed the bed in Game 2 and Game 3 of the division series. So who am I to talk? Like, the Diamondbacks actually won their series. So they've got that going for them, which is nice. They did not look like a team that's ready for that. Now, maybe it's just the Philadelphia thing is clearly a thing, right? Like, whatever you want to say, part of it is the team's very good, and they have home run hitters. They're loaded, that lineup, and they can pitch. Like, that's definitely part of it. But it also seems like there is some aura to going to Philadelphia right now. Merrill Kelly, like, running his mouth.
I know. I don't know why they're...
Why in God's name would you choose to poke the bear? Like, what in the world are you doing?
In fairness, he pitched well. He gave up, like, 2 solo homers, I think.
He pitched well enough. I mean...
When your team gets shut out,
Yeah, it makes it all the worse. I understand that. Dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, what is the thought process? You can just say nothing. I always say this to people. You're allowed to just say nothing. It's okay. Somebody asked me, it's something that I have chosen not to talk about much? The situation in the Middle East. You know why? Because I'm not educated enough. I hate seeing, it's awful. I hate that anybody is getting hurt and losing. Like, I hate that. But you want me to have a conversation about it? I'm the wrong person, Chief. I don't know. You know what I'm not going to talk about today? Who should be the next Speaker of the House? Not my place. I don't know. I'm just not qualified for these conversations. It's okay sometimes. By the way, I might be qualified to talk about certain things, and I'm still going to choose not to. I'll be good with it. Like, I don't need to chime in on this. I don't need anyone to choose to not like me based on any dumb thing that I say. It's okay sometimes. And you can almost do it professionally. Like, the answer for Merrill Kelly can be, we think we've got a great home field advantage. They've got a great home field advantage. I look forward to the challenge. Something like that. That's all you got to do, man.
Maybe you can media train the
Just
Diamondbacks.
that easy. You don't. Then you give it an answer, and yet you haven't really given an answer. And that's the great part. No one's going to care. No one is going to care. I was half waiting for after last night's game to him be like, well, I thought the things that were said in the interview room were private. I thought this was our sanctuary. I was waiting for that response.
I thought the microphone in front of me meant.
Right. How do you know it was even me that said it? I thought they were going to go the Arcia route. They chose not to do that. Yeah, that was what we call a shellacking. I don't know. Pull up. Do me a favor. Pull up Superbook right now and tell me. I would assume the Phillies are favored to win the World Series, but I'm trying to think of what the numbers would be. Would the Phillies be plus 125 and the Rangers plus 200 at this point?
Is that your final guess?
Of course, it's superbook.com, and if you download the Superbook app, you can use the code GlennClark23, and when you do, you'll get up to $250 in a same-day first bet match, win or lose. Again, superbook.com, or download the Superbook app. Yeah, I think the Phillies are – we'll start with the Phillies are plus 125.
They are plus 105.
Wow.
Best odds.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised they have the best odds. Yeah. That part but that's even money, you know what I mean? Like that is – I get it. They would have home field advantage in the World Series, correct?
It's based on record
now, right?
Yeah. Yes, I think so.
I mean, I get it. Neither team was good. That's where we're at. None of the teams that are left were good, but I'm pretty sure they had a better record than the Rangers. They wouldn't they would over the Astros, too. I don't know. That's a good question. Would they have it if somehow the Astros were to be able to come back? I think what that reflects is what I'm talking about, which is even though the Astros now have to go back on the road, we think there's at least a chance of them pulling off a comeback where we believe that there is no chance of the Diamondbacks doing the same thing.
They all won 90 games, all three of them.
Well, what the hell? Well, we know the Astros have the tiebreaker over the Rangers because they won the division.
Right. Yes.
Do we have any idea who has the tiebreaker?
It just goes head to head, right? Would that
Jake, look into that. Jake, we'll have Jake do the investigation on that. Jake's going to investigate who would have the tiebreaker between the. I don't know how that works. Who would have the tiebreaker between the Rangers and the Phillies? Plus 105 for them.
The Rangers swept the Phillies.
But do we know if that's
the first series of the year?
Do we know if that's the tiebreaker?
I don't know if that's the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
But that is a fact.
All right, so we have that filed away. If the first tiebreaker is head-to-head. So go back to the odds. The Rangers are...
It is head-to-head.
Head-to-head. So the Rangers would actually have home field advantage in the World Series.
Big.
But, again, I think the odds are reflecting, they're facing the Astros, and we're not ready to say the Astros are dead yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll stay at...
Phillies did take 2 of 3 from the Astros.
So if it were them, the Phillies would have the home field advantage for the World Series. So I will say that the odds for the Rangers are plus. If the Phillies are all the way at plus 105, I'll say that the Rangers are plus 275.
Way lower, way
really,
closer to even. Yeah,
really, plus 150.
Even lower.
What?
Plus 135. For the Rangers to win the World Series, and then the Astros plus 905.
Yeah.
And 1885.
Yeah, right. The Diamondbacks are plus $1 billion at this point. Plus, it's actually just the infinity symbol. That's what it is.
Not dead yet.
If you want to bet the Diamondbacks, you can win $60 billion right now. Yeah, that's about right. I guess. I mean, I'm surprised the Rangers numbers are so low. I thought they would show a little bit more deference towards the Astros there and the chances that Houston still has because they're the Astros, but that's probably about right. I don't know how I would if you forced me to bet one way or the other on one of those two teams. It feels like there's a thing happening with Philadelphia, but it feels like there's a thing happening with Texas. I don't really have a sense.
I would trust Philly more. Again, it's
why?
Just because of Aroldis Chapman, and they keep throwing him out there, and that's the one weakness with Texas right now. Both teams seem to be wagons, but Aroldis Chapman is really shaky, and I don't trust that. So
that's true.
The Phillies were just here last year.
Yeah,
I understand that, but I don't really know how much that matters at this point, right?
Bryce Harper's got something to prove, and
I'll listen. What do you think? Corey Seager doesn't care. Hey, Bryce Harper really wants to win the World Series.
Bryce Harper's better.
Corey Seager's just I'm enjoying the ride. Weird bit. Weird bit. I don't know, man. Like, I understand why the default would be Philadelphia. I think part of it is also that we're not ready to completely dismiss the Astros just yet, whereas we're ready to declare that the NLCS is over, so it's easy to sort of coalesce behind that team because, like, we're confident that they're going to be there. We're still not fully certain that Texas is going to be there. If Texas sweeps the Astros or even gets the job done in, like, 5 games without that series going back to Houston, that's a hell of a statement, man.
Texas in 5 plus 250.
That's what's Texas in 4?
Texas in 4 is plus 240.
That's a little surprising,
Yeah.
right? That's a little. I mean, I get it. What they're really saying is they're going to be favored in both games, which they should because they're at home. What's pitching matchup tonight?
Good question.
It's
got to be Christian
this.
Javier.
Yeah, it is Javier, and it's
And-
Scherzer,
Yeah,
right?
that's right, yeah.
Yeah,
Scherzer,
it's
Javier.
Scherzer, Javier.
And Javier does
tonight.
not allow runs in the postseason, so it'll be.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that Christian Javier does not allow runs in the postseason. The only other news tidbit, Game 3 of the ALCS is tonight. The only other news tidbit from the day yesterday, of course, with the Ravens, Kenyon Drake is gone. The points that were made by a few people, quite relevant. What is the path for Kenyon Drake at this point? You're behind. Keaton Mitchell's now on the active roster. Melvin Gordon is still on the practice squad. It's kind of a weird bit because they can't call him up ever again, and so he's just sort of hanging out on the practice squad, waiting to see if he'll be needed. There's talk about maybe the Ravens being involved in trade conversations with running backs. What is the path for Kenyon Drake? And so with Marcus Williams being banged up, looking like he's probably going to miss time, he's clearly playing with one arm to this point, they decided to add another safety. I don't remember the guy's name to the practice squad they added. Something Adams. What was this gentleman's name? John Adams? Is that what it was? John Quincy Adams, perhaps?
I don't think it
was it John Quincy Adams that they added to the practice squad? Was it Jamal Adams? That would be a hell of a
Yeah,
get.
it would be.
That'd be really impressive. Was it former three-point specialist Michael Adams? You guys don't want to play Andrew Adams? You guys don't want to play the Adams game, do you? I will
Andrew Adams.
smoke your ass. Go ahead. Give me yours.
Adam Jones.
That's not an Adams. It's got to be somebody with the last name Adams. I'm killing you.
You
got
took 'em
nothing. No, I didn't take them all. What about Wednesday Adams or Gomez Adams or Pugsley Adams, huh? What about the Adams family, jackass? Just wipe the floor with you in the
Steven
Adams
Adams.
game. Steven Adams. You did get one on the board. It's now 10-1. So
Oh, we
could
didn't
be
go back and forth.
anybody's game, really.
Yeah.
You had plenty of opportunities to get in. You didn't even try. I used to play the last name or the name game. My buddies all the time. It would just impromptu. Oh man, it was joy. Whenever everybody says that all men need to do is name athletes,
Yeah.
that famous tweet. There's nothing more accurate than that in the history of time. We will be as happy as anyone on the planet if we can just sit around and name some dudes. It is all of the joy. Keep trying to explain to people, why do we love Fantasy Football Day? Junk food and naming football players. End of list. Ball busting. Jocularity.
Right.
That's what we've got. And that's all. That's what we need to experience joy. This is our therapy. This is what we have. Deal with it. Yeah, so they made that move, and you understand it. You have to understand it because what the point? God bless Kenyon Drake. There was no path for him, and let's not pretend like he was good anyway. So it's kind of
He had
is.
moments, I guess.
Did he though?
Not this season.
Right. Like, did he though? Yeah, I remember when he came back this year, everybody was like, "Oh, this makes sense." Kenyon Drake was like, "You guys have more affection towards Kenyon Drake than I feel like is truly warranted."
I mean, if he hadn't fumbled,
then you wouldn't remember anything about him this season. That's correct.
That would have been a really big play because it was like a
It
30-yard
It
run.
would have been a big play, yes, but it wasn't. It was a fumble and a costly one in a game that the Ravens lost. So, safe home, sweet prince. Thank you for the memories. Hour number 1 of today's show is also brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. Ravens get back on the practice field today as they begin preparations for their first home game in like what feels like a year at this point. It feels like they haven't been home in an eternity as they get back this Sunday. And it's weird because I don't think we've ever said the words big game against the Detroit Lions. The only Ravens-Lions memory I have was Barry Sanders' final game being in Baltimore in '97. I can't think of any other. Oh, never mind. The Tucker. Ha! Take it back. In Baltimore, I mean, because the Tucker kicks were both in Detroit. But the only Ravens-Lion game in Baltimore that I can remember that mattered was, of course, the Barry Sanders game years ago, which was at Memorial Stadium. That's how far back it goes. But this one is a very big game on Sunday. Joining us now, one of my favorites. He was a guest with us for years during his time at ESPN. He is the Lions color analyst, former offensive lineman. The great Mr. Lomas Brown is back with us here on GCR. Lomas, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It is so great to catch up, man. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes for us.
Absolutely, Glenn. How have you been, my good man?
I have been great, brother. It is great to hear from you, dude. I feel like you've got to be about like Phil Collins at this point. Like you've been waiting for this moment for all your life to talk about this kind of Detroit Lions team.
I love it. Hey, at least I've been waiting since 1991 because that was the last time we won a playoff game, and 1993 was the last time we won a divisional title here. So it's been a long wait for a lot of fans, even before then. So, man, everybody's just so excited about this team, excited about what's been going on, and excited about the future, what the future holds for this team.
All right, Lomas, how did this happen, right? Because we all remember what a miserable start it was for the Lions a year ago. And then something in the middle of the season clicked and turned, and everything, life has been wildly different for this franchise ever since. What, from your perspective, what happened to make the Detroit Lions go from the woeful, bag on the head Lions to being one of the best teams in all of football?
Yeah, I wish I could say it was just bam, this one magical thing, but it wasn't. I mean, it's been really a short process, but it's been a process, man. I'm kind of shocked at how fast things have come along since Brad Holmes, since Dan Campbell has taken over this team. I mean, the flip, not just only the organization, the way people look at the Lions now. I mean, we weren't a destination spot for free agents. Now Detroit is a destination spot, and it's because of the philosophy here. It's because of the organizational change. And Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, they have everything to do with that because they came in, they started bringing in the right players, the guys that were hungry, guys that needed another chance and were willing to do any and everything they had to do to get that second chance. Those were they drafted well. So it's been a process that's been going on, but it's been a short process, and thank goodness it's been a short process.
You brought up Dan Campbell. Everybody watched Hard Knocks. The country fell in love with Dan Campbell. What is it about him? Why has he been the one to completely change the culture in Detroit?
So full disclosure, that's my guy, man. We played 2 years together with the Giants. So I seen when I was in my 15th year, he was in his second year. And I knew it was something you could know it was something different about him. You just couldn't say, oh, he was going to be a great football coach, but you knew it was something different about the guy. And, man, I'm telling you, man, the way he motivates, the way he leads, that's a quality. That's his quality. He's able to gather the guys, and he's able to get everybody going in the right direction and fighting to the end. And he takes these gritty guys, man, these tough-nosed guys, these guys that just don't care, and are willing to do any and everything to get the job done. He just surrounded himself with those type of players. And Brad Holmes has done the same thing. So it's been great to watch, and believe me, man, we're reaping the rewards of it right now here in Detroit.
He is Lomas Brown, Lions color analyst. He's with us here on GCR. We're getting ready for Ravens-Lions coming up on Sunday. Lomas, the Jared Goff conversation always fascinates me, right? Whenever his name comes up on this show, I always say the same thing. I understand there's an inclination around the country for football fans to be like, I just don't trust Jared Goff. And yet all he ever does is go out and produce. Like, he just plays well, puts up numbers. What should everyone know about Jared Goff, and why does everyone in Detroit maybe have greater faith in this young man than it is that the rest of the country seems to have in him?
I'm telling you, man, the dude is cool, calm, and collective. I mean, he doesn't get riled. You could watch Jared throughout a game, and you wouldn't know whether we were up or down. That's his demeanor, and that's great. I mean, and look, as a former offensive lineman, if my quarterback came in the huddle and his demeanor was the same, it's going to keep me the same way regardless of what's going on in the game or where we're at in the game. It's just his, and that's how he is. That's what Jared's been like, man. He's a rock right there, man. He's been making great decisions with the ball, and he's been spreading the ball. I think that's the thing that I'm most wild about with him is his ability to spread the ball to everybody. So everyone's going to get a chance to eat in our offense. And, of course, Ben Johnson has been doing a phenomenal job calling plays, designing plays, and him and Jared, they're on the same page, singing from the same sheet of music right now.
The new superstar this season in Detroit seems like it's the tight end, Sam Laporta, who has been extraordinarily effective. How seamless has it been? What has allowed him? There's this sort of old story that rookie tight ends, it just never works out, right? Everybody tells you never draft a rookie tight end in fantasy football. They're never productive in their first year. What has allowed Sam Laporta to buck the trend of rookie tight ends and step in and make an impact so quickly?
You know what? I'm going to probably give some credit, and I don't know whether it's due or not, but think about it. That's what Dan Campbell was a tight end in this league. A tough-nosed tight end in this league. And I think he probably seen something in Sam Laporta, And I'm quite sure they did, not just him, but the scouting staff seen something in him. But I'm telling you, man, it's probably his trademark. And the thing that's surprising me about Sam, I knew about the hands. And I knew about the yak. He could get the yards after the catch. I'm telling you, his blocking, that has shocked me at how well, because he's a rookie and he's coming in blocking like he's a fourth, fifth-year guy, and it's unbelievable. So that's the thing, man. Along with everything else, his blocking has really, really captivated me and shown me that this guy is the complete guy.
It is something that we were told he was just a hands guy, and to your point, he's been a more complete tight end, and it makes him all the more dangerous, which is where we get to coming into Sunday, Lomas Brown. Like, I can't believe I'm saying these words, but what's the path for the Ravens to be able to beat the Lions? It happened.
I know. I'm not even used to talking like this as a favorite, man. We've been the underdog so much. It's so different talking as a favorite, man. But, again, man, I think, the one thing for us is we still going to have to overcome these injuries, man. The David Montgomery, I thought there was two guys on our team that I didn't think we could lose for any extended time, and it was Jared Goff and David Montgomery. And now we're going to find out what life is going to be like without him. We need to run the ball. Again, that's been good for us because everything comes off the run for us. We have a great offensive line up front. So we're able to run the ball, and when we need to throw it, we're able to do that. So that's going to be the number one thing we have to do. And then number two for you guys, y'all going to have to protect Lamar because we're bringing it, man. I'm telling you, man, our D-line, our defense, how they're playing right now, this has been so unexpected. I knew they could take a step up, but the step that they've taken from last year to this year is just kind of unbelievable, both in the run and in the past. So, I think the key is going to be able to, for you guys, is to protect Lamar. And then it's always going to come down to special teams playing you guys. It always is. That's what Coach Harbaugh is, and again, we have a good, very good coach in Dave Phipps, our special team coach, and we think we've been pretty good in that area too. So those are my three things I think have to happen for you guys to get that victory.
It's so funny you bring that up, Lo, because we were talking the other day about, have we ignored the Lions defense and all that we've talked about with Laporta and them, you guys getting Jamison Williams back? Have we been dismissive of it? What was it? How did this unit take such a – we all know how good Aiden Hutchinson is, right? Like, that was obvious. But what has allowed this unit to take such a step forward this year? And is it maybe just playing complementary football? Like when the offense is clicking, it allows for the defense to be better.
Yeah, that helps too. And you're exactly right, being able to play complementary football. But I think, to be honest with you, I think our defense has even been a step ahead of our offense this year. I'm telling you, man, they are so aggressive this year. And, I know Aaron Glenn tweaked the defense early this year, and they went to a wide nine technique. And that has the linebackers coming downhill a lot more. That's what I'm noticing about our linebackers. They're attacking the line of scrimmage, man, and they're penetrating and they're making plays before the running back can get going good in a run play. And they're really able with Aiden Hutchinson and especially with our inside push, Aleem McNeil and Benito Jones and those guys, Isaiah Buggs, we've been getting some good push up the middle too. So it's been a nice complementary thing from our defensive front to our secondary, and believe me, it has helped, and it has turned our defense around. And I think that's the number one thing teams need to go in trying to stop with Detroit is their defense.
I was going to ask, Lomas, like, if the Lions are prepared for the other side of this, right? Like, now that they're not the hunters anymore, right? Like, they're the hunted, and how they handle it. I guess the big moment question they answered in week 1 going into Kansas City and beating the Chiefs on the road. Like, the moment – there's not going to be a moment that's going to be too daunting for them if you're capable of doing that, right?
Yeah, that was something, but a lot of people wanted to dismiss it because they said Travis Kelce wasn't there, Chris Jones wasn't there.
Yeah.
So you take that game out the equation. I say this last game versus Tampa Bay, I think that proved it to everybody in Detroit that this team is for real. They could go on the road. Tampa Bay coming into that game, they were leading the NFC South, and they had only one loss. It was a tough game going up against a similar tough defense that we're going to face versus Baltimore. Different animal in the quarterback, man. Oh, my goodness, man. He is special. Lamar is special. But, again, it was a test for us on the road. They went in there and they got it done. So we feel confident here that we could go anywhere. And Dan Campbell said that. He said anywhere, anytime, it don't matter.
You genuinely buying that they can win a Super Bowl this year, Lomas?
Man, I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to tell you what my goals were. My goals were for them to win the division and host a home playoff game and win that. That was my goals coming into the season. Now, that's Lomas Brown's goal. That's not the Detroit Lions' goals. That's not the Fords. That's not Dan Campbell and them goals. That was my goal coming into the season. And, man, so, look, you get in there, anything can happen. But, again, I need to win the division, win the playoff game, and let the cards fall where they may be.
All right. Well, we're hoping there's a speed bump on Sunday, personally. We're hoping for that. But it is a wild story, and certainly the country seems to be embracing it, and we can see all of a sudden, I can't believe I'm going to say the words. We're thinking there might be like 10,000 Lions fans here in Baltimore on Sunday.
Yes, man. We're coming strong. We've been coming strong to every stadium,
what
man.
A world.
I'm telling you, we're coming.
At Lomas Brown 75 on Twitter is how you follow him. Lomas Brown, it has been way too long. It is great to hear your voice. Looking forward to seeing you here in Baltimore on Sunday, my friend. Thank you for spending a couple of minutes with us this morning.
Absolutely. Take care of yourself anytime.
Thank you, brother. Lomas Brown, love that dude. He's been a friend of ours for many years, and yet we've never, ever had a conversation about a good Detroit Lions football team. Like, a really good. I mean, I know they had a couple of, like, moments in the Stafford years where they looked like they were at least relevant, but not like this, where I could ask the question, do you believe they could win a Super Bowl? Which is a viable question to ask. Bonkers world we're living in. Bonkers world. All right, when we come back in, the Tyus Bowser Show, segment number 1, we're going to ask the question. John Harbaugh said you got to talk to Tyus. Well, we're going to talk to Tyus. We're going to do other things, too. We're going to talk about a win in London. We're going to talk about the experience in London. We're going to talk about all those things, but we'll ask the question as well. Today's show is brought to you by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour. If you missed Stan, Luke, and Ross Grimsley, they were together on Monday. You can always watch Stan's shows, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, PressBoxOnline.com/video. Stan the Fan, Charles, Ross Grimsley, Luke Jackson every Monday. And then this week, Stan also has already done he did his Thursday show a little early because the 5-star starts tomorrow. He caught up with writer Buck Davidson, and you can find that as well in the same locations ahead of the start of the Maryland 5-star. Tyus Bowser Show next, Glenn Clark Radio. Why bet with the big boys this football season? Instead, try your hand with the local book, Superbook Sports, this fall. Superbook Sports is the book next door. Just a dedicated team of the best odds makers in Las Vegas, making sure you get the best prices and parlays anywhere. And now, Superbook will give you a bonus of up to $250 when you sign up and wager on the same day and use the promo code GlennClark23, GLENNCLARK23. So bet with the best and use the promo code GlennClark23 this football season with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What's up, everyone? It's Tyus Bowser, and I've had so much fun hanging out with Rita and putting up with Glenn the last couple years that I've decided to do it again. Season 3 of the Tyus Bowser Show is happening this year, as we'll be all over town, giving you the chance to get to know me and some of my teammates. As we talk football, life in general, and just say what needs to be said. You can find out more about the show by going to PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser. If you don't live in the area, you can watch the shows live on Facebook and YouTube. And if you miss one, you can listen Friday nights at 105.7 The Fan. So we'll see you all season long for the Tyus Bowser Show, a partnership of PressBox and Great Ace Memorabilia.
The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, October 17th at Mother's North Grill in Timonium. It's brought to you by Superbook Sports and AJ Michaels, and if you or a loved one have a gambling problem, visit helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Picking a restaurant to try for the first time? Let's look at the Costas Inn. Here's a few checklist items. Quality of the food? Check. Quality of service? Check. Does restaurant have plenty of free parking? Check. And finally, does restaurant have delicious steamed crabs, crab cakes, crab soup, and specials galore? Check, check, check. Costas Inn, 4100 North Point Boulevard. They check all the boxes.
Visit Harford County this fall. Celebrate arts across Harford September 15th through the 30th with dance, theater, music, and visual arts. September 29th through October 1st is the largest Italian festival in Maryland, featuring entertainment, cooking demonstrations, a bocce tournament, and family fun. If you're headed to the Maryland 5-Star, stay and play in Harford County. While you're there, enjoy the scenic views atop the King and Queen seats and experience pumpkin patches, corn mazes, and fall brews along their Harford Libation Trail. For more info, head to visitharford.com. Maryland open.
What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria? A.J. Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis. AJMichaels.com.
The Baltimore County Police Department is now hiring with competitive salaries, including for experienced police officers, starting salaries between over $68,000 and over $82,000 based on your prior service time, accepting up to 7 years of service times with only 6 weeks in the academy, minimum of 2 years prior experience. And police cadet starting salaries at over $32,000 must be between the ages of 18 and 20, but you can apply starting at 17 and a half. Must have a high school diploma or GED equivalent at the time of the hire, U.S. citizen at the time of the hire, and a valid driver's license. So if you have a passion for service and want a career for life, now is the time to join the Baltimore County Police Department. Call 410-887-5542 or visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Sure, Glenn may be in his 40s now, but he looks just as good as he ever has, and he's still as sharp as he ever was. And I say both those things without even a shred of irony. Find out for yourself right now by watching the show at facebook.com/PressBoxSports or youtube.com/PressBoxOnline.
Let's get right into it. We had segment number 1 of the Tyus Bowser Show from last night, Mother's North Grill in Timonium. We take you there now via the magic of radio. PressBox 105.7 The Fan. We are live from Mother's North Grill in Timonium. I am Glenn Clark. She is Rita Hubbard. And would you all please make some noise for the star of our show? He is Mr. Tyus Bowser.
Appreciate y'all. Appreciate it.
It is good to see you, brother. Always good. We'll introduce your guest here in 1 second. I got to let everybody know today's show is brought to you by Superbook Sports. The Ravens are back in first place, and if you like their chances of making a... We do like that. There's no doubt.
Yeah, we like that.
If you like their chances of making a deep run, you can get them at plus 850 to win the AFC, plus 1,600 to win it all right now at Superbook. Download the Superbook app, visit superbook.com, and use the code GlennClark23. That's GLENNCLARK23 to sign up, and you'll receive a same-day first bet match up to $250, win or lose. All right, Tyus, you have a great guest out with us tonight. You want to introduce him to everybody?
Yeah, man. This is one of my really good guys that I've had the chance to get to know and work with. Great player. Very bright personality. I don't think it's as close as Marlins, but it's definitely up there. But this guy's been a huge help to us, man, and a great addition to this team, and he's done fantastic for us. And that man is Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
All right, you guys know I'm a huge college football fan. I have been watching Clowney. Also, Clowney comes from the SEC, so I had an opportunity.
How'd he do against Florida? Rita's a big Florida fan.
Mind your business. Anyway, of course, all we remember is the hit in the bowl game against Michigan. I know you have to talk about this all the time, right? Okay, go ahead.
So it's like 10 years ago, right?
How long ago was that?
11 years. Time fly.
11 years.
Yeah, it's been a while. You know how many people ask me about that hit?
To this day, right?
To this day. I still remember like it was yesterday, so it was crazy. They just got us on the fourth down that they did not get, and they gave them the first down, and next play was the big hit, and I was just changed my life forever, probably.
And you've been getting money ever since.
Yes, I have.
All right. Give it up for the Ravens for winning a game this Sunday in London. Tyus, I know you've been before, but I know you guys got a little bit more time out there this time. Before we get to football, I just want to talk about like London, man. Spending a week in London, the highlights, the tiny toothpaste tubes that I got to figure out what that's all about.
That was crazy.
Man, what was the best?
Did you eat some fish and chips or some beans and toast?
The fish and chips, yeah, I did. It was okay.
Jadeveon said something was terrible. What was terrible?
I didn't like the food down there.
Jadeveon, can I ask you to move that microphone a little bit?
I wasn't a fan of the food that much, but
well, wait, what'd you try?
The trip was nice. It was nice, but I ate pretty much everything they had on the menu. I was trying it all, but it wasn't going well with me.
Okay, hang on. What was something that you tried that you were like, nah, I'm good. I'll never need to do this again?
No, it was just the food that we had in general on the team, the pasta, the rice, the chicken wing was like very, very small. Like
very small.
Like everything was smaller. I don't get it, but I was like, I'm losing weight out here. I got to keep my weight up, so.
I don't know if it's like a European thing, though. When everything is much smaller, people are much slimmer. I don't know if that's just a thing there compared to here. So
it's us.
No,
it's basically us.
No.
Okay.
I had a feeling you was gonna go there, but no, that's not the case. No,
Dude,
not like that.
Dude, that tube of toothpaste that you shared on Instagram, I don't know if y'all saw on Tyus's Instagram, it was like this.
It was crazy.
What was that? Like, what are you supposed to do with that? He's trying to show the size.
It was literally this size, people. Like, I'm literally looking at it and it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? This is literally half of the day's worth.
I have a question because Jadeveon made a valid point. He said, that's why I brought my own. Why did you not bring your own toothpaste?
I did bring my own toothpaste.
Oh, you just but you kept the other ones.
Yeah, it was inside of the hotel room. So, I like to try out whatever's there. And I'm like.
But, like, what are you supposed to do with that?
Yeah, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah, that's the smallest tube of toothpaste I've ever seen in my. All right, we know that you like to travel the world. What did you enjoy most about the London experience?
The English accent.
Do you want to attempt one? Did you pick anything up while you were there?
Oh, man, okay. Hello there, everyone. My name is Tyus Bowser. I'm play for the Baltimore Ravens, and we're here in Tottenham, London, England, and we enjoyed each and every one here. We got there Tuesday and drank a bottle of water and just had a great time, man. Can't wait to go again.
That's pretty good, dude. That's pretty good.
It was okay. I'm trying to get it down, though.
He had one, too. What did they say there?
I was sick a lot out there. I got sick traveling. I don't know what happened to me, but I was sick.
So we
it'd be like that, you know what I mean?
Jadeveon, we saw you said that you barely slept until the night before.
Yes, when I got there, I couldn't sleep. And then
can I get you? I'm sorry.
When I got there, I couldn't sleep. The next day, I came down with my throat was burning. I was like, hey, I can't run, practice. My head hurt. It was a rough trip for me. The only thing was good, we got the win.
I was gonna say, and yet you played really well on Sunday.
It was rough.
2 sacks. I mean, you didn't look sick to me.
Thank you, God. It was a good trip overall. Other than that, man, we enjoyed ourselves. Been out there traveling, Center City. I did go to London and have a good time down there, 2 days. So they got nice malls, nice shopping spots. So it was good.
How important is it for you guys to have a normal schedule when you're having an international trip? Because obviously you guys left on Monday, so that's a whole, week essentially, but you had an opportunity to look around the city and, like you said, shop and all of those things. How important was it for you to feel comfortable?
You were on the trip the last time.
Yeah.
Did you think it made a difference getting out there early?
Most definitely. I mean, the first time I went my rookie year, we got there on a Friday or a Thursday, something like that, and it was just terrible because we got off the plane, got to the hotel, and when I say wore out, like I was just tired. And it was like, yeah, we're going to have meetings next, and let's just say meetings started at 11. We probably didn't start till like 11:45, trying to get people out of their rooms, people thinking that we just getting that time to rest, but we actually meeting, then we go and practice. Practice was just bad, and then the stuff with Donald Trump came through as well, so that was just another distraction, and it was just a lot. But compared to that, to now, we got there Monday. We had the opportunity as a team. A lot of us went out that night just to kind of, just get together, being able to enjoy each other, and we didn't really had the opportunity to do that this year, so that really brought us together, which was definitely needed. And then we had Tuesday off, completely off, so that was the opportunity to catch up on rest, go to the city, move around, get the tour around. So that was the big part, and then we got into our regular schedule Wednesday, Thursday with practice, and I could definitely say being able to get acclimated to that area, that was definitely beneficial for us.
Jadeveon, I'm guessing that you wouldn't have minded spending less time in London based on the experience that you had.
Yeah.
But could you see how maybe it might have been beneficial?
I did, because like he said, when I first got there, I couldn't sleep. I was just up the whole night, 2 hours, 3 hours sleep. The next night I got like 4 hours, 5 hours, and it kept getting better and better every night. Then the game night I got like 8 hours of sleep. I was like, okay, I feel pretty good waking up the game day, so it definitely helped.
Pretty good game day, by the way. Pretty good game day on Sunday. Hey, real quick, if you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. This is the Tyus Bowser Show with Jadeveon Clowney. We are live at Mother's in Timonium. Jadeveon, what got into your whole group on Sunday, man? That was, y'all put on a show.
Man, it's just the work and coverage together. We put so much into practice, and our coaching staff get us prepared during the week, and we just try to go out there and execute during the week, during the game. And this game, everything kept working together for us, and we got the job done.
Yeah, that's an understatement of the century, by the way. Jadeveon on Sunday, 2 sacks, 4 hits, 9 pressures. Other than that, though, right?
Straight ball.
Got to keep it going. It's just started something great. Got a big game this week coming up back home, and happy to be back home, and looking forward to this game and trying to keep it going.
But how did it feel in terms of, like, having those 2 sacks? We all saw Marlon's post game where he said what he said, and at first,
Almost.
At first you was like, who said, basically who said that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so he said, oh, I made that up. And so we saw week to week you were very, very close. And to me, it was just a matter of time before you closed in the deal. But now, I feel like sometimes when you have a game like you did on Sunday, it just continues to get the ball rolling.
Oh, yeah, that's a big thing. Like I said, I didn't get no training camp. I came in week 1 and trying to get it going, and I missed a few early. I was kind of upset about it. I just told the coach I'm going to keep working and keep getting better each game, and it's going to eventually come together as long as I keep preparing the way I do in practice. And it definitely came together. I hope I can keep the ball rolling throughout the season.
Tyus, you've had to watch from a different role this group, your group.
Yeah.
They're tied for the NFL lead with 24 sacks on the season.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Come on, clap that up, y'all. Because and that's important to say too, Glenn, because coming into this season, it was who's going to step up, who's going to be the guy. And you got guys like Jadeveon that's come in, guys like Kyle Van Noy, other guys that have come in and made an impact, in addition to guys like Patrick Queen and Kyle Hamilton. So how do you feel about that, seeing how everybody is contributing to the sacks?
I mean, that goes to EDC and just him doing a great job of bringing in the right players. Mike McDonald just preparing us, having a game plan, having a playbook that puts us in the best position, using our players in the right way to help us go out here and thrive. So, I mean, kudos to them, man. And, that just shows the type of organization we have, where we bring in players where there's not a letdown, there's not a step back, because we have great people in the office. We have great coaches that, put us in the right position to be successful.
Jadeveon, what's it meant to you, right? Like you.
Man, this is my 5th team, and I told them guys when I got here, I was like, I've been on 5 teams, man. This team right here is special, and this group of guys, we can go all the way. And I just keep reminding them and harping on that, and I tell them every time we have practice, every game, look, we're a special group. Let's go out here and show the world why we're so special, and let's just continue to play at a high level. We got great guys on this team, man, great leaders, great role players. I think that, like he said, the staff put the team together great. We just got to keep coming to work and preparing the way we do, and it should continue to show.
But you personally,
yeah,
you're an accomplished player in this league, and yet
it's been up and down.
No, but you are.
No,
Yeah.
But for the most part, you have had a good career.
You were sitting on a couch.
I was.
In August. Did you take that personally at all? Did you? What is it? Look, you hear things. This is the way the world works, right?
I really thought I wasn't going to play this season. I was like, I'm just going to sit this one out. And then I'm on the couch. They called. I got up. I said, okay, I got a job coming. I said, I might as well go play some more football. I enjoy the game. I love it. So I might as well go play. And then I was happy to come here, and I came on my visit. I watched the team practice. I was like, man, y'all got the pieces everywhere to go to the Super Bowl, man. Just need a couple more, and then I felt like I can help this team in certain ways, and me being a part of it now, I can tell you, like, we got a chance, and that's all you can ask for in the league.
What is it like coming from a divisional rivalry, right? Like you obviously played the Ravens twice a year when you were in Cleveland, and now you're the enemy, right? Like, so what is it like when a guy goes to a team that is essentially the division rival of the other team?
Man, I've been doing that a few times.
This is true. You have.
But you want to always get the team back to let you go. So when the Browns let me go, I was definitely trying to find a way to play in that division, to play against them guys, because I felt like the relationship we had on the Browns, it did not end as well as I wanted to, and stuff went on in the building that I didn't expect to happen or go that way. So when I got the opportunity to go to the Ravens, I was always a fan of John Harbaugh's because the way he treated his players by me just watching from TV, he listened to his players. And I always want to be a part of something like that. So when I got here, I was just like, bro, I'm so glad y'all came and got me and gave me that phone call to come play for y'all. But it's been great so far for me. I love it.
It's worked out okay.
We are too.
Yeah, it's worked out all right. Tyus, we're going to handle this however we can handle it, right?
Yeah.
I think everybody knows what's going on. I think everybody heard the same thing.
Yeah.
John Harbaugh said, you guys got to talk to Tyus.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what's going on. I don't know the story. Yeah. We've talked about this a million times. This isn't the world, but this is the Tyus Bowser Show.
It is.
We are talking to Tyus. So is there anything that you can tell us?
I mean, like I said, I'm feeling great. I'm on the field. I'm moving around very well. I'm just gaining more and more confidence each and every day. Not only on the field, but in the training room, I have great people around me, great support staff, and I feel like myself is getting to that point, and I'm just going to continue to work hard, and when that time comes, it comes.
Okay. I like that. That sounds pretty good to me, right? It sounds like the people that were being super dramatic.
Yeah, it was a lot going on, but it's no better way of asking the guy himself.
That's the only thing I can
and
do.
Just
right?
leave it at that. So
you say your piece, and we're good, man.
Yeah.
That's the way that it goes.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're not announcing a retirement or
something.
No.
Or that you won't be here for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's all we want to hear.
Yeah.
Give us some hope. Give us a little bit of hope. That's all we can ask for, right?
That's what we wanted here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it looked like,
if I can play, I'll definitely play.
We know
that's the goal. That's the mindset.
That.
So.
All right, y'all make some noise one more time for Tyus Bowser, Jadeveon Clowney. Hey, if you want to meet a future Hall of Famer this weekend, the legendary Marshall Yanda will be hosting a meet and greet at Wise Markets this Saturday, October 21st from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The cost is a $25 donation to the Susan G. Komen Foundation to help in the fight against breast cancer. So it's a real win-win. Details, tickets available right now, grade8smemorabilia.com. That's grade8smemorabilia.com with the number 8. All right, there you go. That's what Tyus had to say. As our friend Jonah Schaefer from the Baltimore Banner had actually already written about it this morning. Does it give us answers? No. No, it doesn't. Does it provide a bit more confusion? Truthfully, yes, it does. This is the part where you say, Glenn, is Tyus giving you any more information privately about it?
Is he giving you more information privately about this?
2 things. The first thing is, if he has, I would not tell you.
What?
2, truth be told, it's why I try to avoid having him tell me other things privately about it. And I'll be as straight as I can about this. If I have Tyus tell me something, and then tomorrow somebody else, word gets out about it, then the first thing Tyus is going to do is come back and say, you told somebody. So I try to avoid having Tyus tell me things. The truth is, we have a business relationship. I'm the host of the Tyus Bowser Show, not the other way around. Like, Tyus isn't a guest on the Rita and Glenn show. We're the guests on the Tyus Bowser Show. So, pull the curtain back. Before the show yesterday, I said, Tyus, how do you want to handle this? The answer was, I kind of don't. That's the truth. I'll tell you, that part I'll tell you. When we talked before the show yesterday, Tyus said, I'd kind of rather not talk about it. I said, I don't think that's a good idea. I think it would be a tough look for John Harbaugh to have said, you got to talk to Tyus, and Tyus say, I got nothing to say. So we agreed about that, and he said, all right, yeah, we can talk about it. I said, I'll roll it out there. Whatever you want to say, you can say it. And that's what he wanted to say. What does it mean? I don't know. I really don't. Is there room for... It's the same thing I told you. The news... The way that John Harbaugh described it on Monday was so weird to me, considering Tyus was in London. Like, if there's a serious – by the way, did you see – he was playing around with kids, like diving around. If there's a serious problem, it just seems odd that would have happened. Is there somewhere for there to be room in the middle? I think there might be. Is there room for John Harbaugh thought Tyus was ready 2 weeks ago and Tyus wasn't ready 2 weeks ago, so he just kind of doesn't want to talk about it anymore and is deferring to Tyus until he is? That could be possible. That's possible. Is there room for there to be, like, there's the theory that everybody had that this means, like, with the way that John Harbaugh worded it, it means Tyus might need a surgery and he's got to make that decision. Is it possible that Tyus isn't ready to make a decision yet? I think that's possible too. There's a lot of things that are possible between here and there. But more than anything, for HIPAA reasons, I'm going to default to Tyus. Whatever Tyus wants to say, that's what he gets to say. And if he doesn't want to say anything more than that, you cannot force someone. That's how HIPAA works. Like, you can't force them. Well, it's actually not technically how. Sorry. Now I sound as dumb as some of those football players during COVID. That's actually not how HIPAA works. He has the right, though, to not choose to share whatever he doesn't want to share. That's his right. That's actually not HIPAA. I'm sorry. I really did. I just sounded as stupid as Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott and everybody that tried to do that. That's not how HIPAA works. But it's still his right. It's his information. He can choose to do whatever he wants to do with it. He says he's still working hard. I can confirm to you that he's not planning on, like, going home, packing it up. He's planning on being here this season, which would seem to me like he's planning on trying to play. When that's going to happen, I don't know the answer to that question. And unfortunately, we didn't get an answer to that during that interaction. But that's his response, which sure seems a bit different than as dramatic as we were talking about it for the 24 hours after John Harbaugh spoke to the media on Monday. So there you have it. That's what Tyus Bowser had to say in the Tyus Bowser Show. You can watch or listen to the entire show at glennclarkradio.com right now as well. Into hour number 2 of the program. Coming up starting tomorrow out at Fair Hill, one of the biggest events of the year here in the state of Maryland. It is, of course, the Maryland 5-Star. Joining us now to tell us about that and some other things going on in the world of Maryland sports, he is the executive director of Maryland Sports. He's our friend, Mr. Terry Hasseltine, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Terry, it's Glenn. It's always good to catch up with you, sir. Thank you for spending a couple of minutes with us this morning.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm glad to be on.
Terry, I feel like every time we get around to 5-Star time, there are still people that say, I hear you talking about it. I still don't know exactly what it is. Can you try Can you try for the layperson, for someone who's never watched eventing, who's never been involved with this sport whatsoever, try to explain why the Maryland 5-Star is so important and why it's worth taking some time to get out to Fair Hill this weekend.
Well, I can definitely do that. Well, this is only one of 7 5-stars in eventing in the world, only 2 in North America, us in Kentucky. This is the triathlon of equestrian sports. So on day 1, same rider, same horse doing all 3 of the competitions. You do dressage, which is kind of like ballet for horses and dancing for horses, followed by day 2, which is endurance and cross country, where the horses are jumping over obstacles that are taller than the average human, and they're doing it over a 4.5-mile trek. And then the next day, they do agility, which is show jumping inside the main arena in front of thousands of people. Same rider, same horse, all 3 days. And here's the added catch to this thing. Men and women compete equally in this sport, which is fantastic news in anything in competition when everybody's on the even footing and the horse is the main draw to this event. You'll have everything from beer and wine festival to a food festival out here, corgi racing on Sunday morning with the final of the corgi race happening about midday. And then, you come out here, the shopping is fantastic. The sponsors come out with all their wares and all their, things to give away and to sell. It's just a fantastic 3+ days of just pure fun and enjoyment. and telling everybody that this is Maryland that's doing this.
Terry, the impact of this event, what it means for our state, what it means for this region. Can you explain why maybe, again, even if it's not necessarily your thing, it's something that everybody should get behind because it's really good for us?
Oh, it's tremendous, bringing, our equestrian competition community together. It's great for the citizens of Maryland because it's bringing people not only from the region, but all around the country, as well as international. We got the #1 rider in the world here, Oliver Townsend, who came over the pond in order to compete here at the Maryland 5-Star. This is prestigious. This is an honor to be hosting it. And like I said, it's only one of 7 in the world and only 2 in North America. This is, the thing that you put your crown on and you say, we nailed this thing, and Maryland is the place for equestrian sports. Get out to the 5-Star, food, festival, corgis, horses, the whole 9 yards. You can't help but enjoy this event, even if you're not an equestrian by nature. This is a come together, have a great time, party, have fun, and enjoy yourself, and see some great competition.
Terry Hasseltine is with us here on GCR. Terry, I feel like when we first talked about this event years ago, the plan was this is going to become a tentpole event for the state of Maryland. This is going to be everything moving forward. This is not an experiment. This is something we are committed to. The response that you've gotten from the first couple of years, how confident are you in the growth of this event, that this is becoming what the state wanted it to be, and that this will be something that, my grandkids years from now will be going to the Maryland 5-Star?
Well, Glenn, spot on. This is an event. We're in our 3rd year now. Technically, we should have probably been on year 5 by now, but with that little friend called COVID. But every year we progressively, get a better lay of the land. We have more and more people showing each and every year. We're building the foundation and the growth strategy on this event year in and year out so that it can become a legacy event for me, for the sport court, for the state of Maryland, for the Maryland Sports Commission, to ensure that your grandkids and grandkids beyond that can remember when the foundation of this event was established and what we did in order to orchestrate this event, so that every fall you can anticipate coming out to Fair Hill and seeing the best of the best compete in the state of Maryland when it comes to eventing.
I can't wait for this weekend. It's such a special thing, Terry. Is there any something new this year, or that you guys could still see moving forward as how the event continues to change or grow?
Well, each year we add more and more vendors. So people are seeing this as a great opportunity to be in front of people and a chance to really showcase their wares, whether it's equestrian wear or whether it's just, you and I putting, on the wares. The other thing, the vendors out here, the cuisine that is being on display throughout this weekend, everything from crab cakes to funnel cakes to, 5-star steaks to the whole 9 yards are all out here on this grounds. And you just got to come and experience it for yourself. I can tell you about it. I can talk about it, but you need to put your 2 feet on this ground up here at Fair Hill and experience it for yourself. And once you do, you will come back and tell me that was probably one of the best days of my life.
Terry Hasseltine with us here on GCR, Executive Director of Maryland Sports. Terry, let's talk about some of the other things that are going on. And it's interesting because I was out at USA Lacrosse this past weekend for their Fall Classic event, working with them, and the excitement and how palpable it was for the week leading up with the impending Olympics announcement was kind of out of control. And I don't know how Maryland touches. I think it's easy for us to say, hey, lacrosse being an Olympic sport seems like that should be a big deal for Maryland because lacrosse is a big deal in Maryland. But can you touch on the impact of it and what it might mean for the state moving forward?
Well, I think it's awesome. I mean, U.S. Lacrosse obviously headquartered in the state of Maryland, lacrosse being our state team sport. It basically puts Maryland as the epicenter of the game, because of the headquarters here, because, we have such a commitment and a passion to the game. Whenever lacrosse events happen in Maryland, the attendance is always higher. The quality of teams that attend are great. We just got done a couple years ago hosting the Women's World, Championships in lacrosse, and the men's, several years before that. So it makes Maryland the epicenter of the game. And therefore, during the Olympic movement, now that being added to the Olympic Games means that everybody's going to want to come through Maryland in order to get, those stripes on their sleeve that says I'm part of Team USA, or I'm part of, an international team because they know the best lacrosse is played in Maryland. So it just elevates our profile as a sport. It elevates our profile as a state as being the epicenter of the sport, and it just continues to grow. And now being part of the Olympic movement, it also brings attention globally to make Maryland even more present in the sport because we will be that epicenter of training for the sport going forward.
I was not aware of some of the commitment because lacrosse was not the only sport that was added for 28, but also cricket and flag football were added for 28. Baseball and softball are coming back. I don't think I was aware of some of the commitment to those sports that's been made here in the state of Maryland in recent years. Could you tell me a little bit more about how the state has interacted more and grown more when it comes to cricket and flag football?
Yeah, obviously, cricket is a huge sport for us because with the growth of the game and the youth component of cricket here in the state of Maryland, we have one of the largest youth cricket playing programs in the United States. And that competition has grown exponentially, that more and more people in the cricket community are looking at Maryland as being a core, deliverer of competition and content when it comes to cricket. So we're going to continue to foster the growth of the youth programs here in the state. And then flag football, obviously flag football, the Ravens have invested in it. The Commanders have invested in it. It's starting to get into the school systems, but you're seeing this big upcharge of girls flag football, but also you're seeing a big, tremendous growth on the boys side too, because football is really a great American sport. However, some people are starting to get away from the contact associated with the sport, but still getting the essence of football in the game of flag football. So you're seeing three sports that we have spent time, energy, and effort over the last, 5 to 8 years trying to really grow in Maryland: cricket, flag football, and obviously lacrosse. And then obviously we love to see baseball and softball coming back in the games because we obviously do a lot of work within that space as well. So this is a great win for Maryland because these 5 sports are at the epicenter of our youth and amateur, growth programs across the state, as well as now bringing the energy and the attention to the sports that we pay a lot of attention to at Maryland Sports.
Terry, can I get my dumb guy questions in for you? Do you have time?
Yeah,
all right, let me do the dumb guy stuff. First of all, I was at trivia the other night, and this came up to me, and I said, I don't think so, but I guess I should ask somebody that knows better than I do. I was reminded that when Atlanta hosted the Olympics in '96, there were soccer matches that were actually played in D.C., right? The footprint extended a bit. Now, it would seem extraordinary to go from coast to coast in this case when L.A. hosts, but it's a question that's worth asking anyway. Do we know anything about the footprint? I would guess that Vegas and Phoenix and places like that could end up finding themselves involved somehow just because of the sheer magnitude of hosting an Olympiad. But, is there a world where the Olympics could spread across the country more and that there could be need for hosting events in other cities and other places throughout the United States?
The answer is yes, and that's not a dumb guy question. That's actually a very intelligent question. So when sports like lacrosse, in sports like soccer, in sports where you have qualifying that leads up to the field of elimination when you get to the Olympics, there's a chance that other communities across the country could get engaged in those kind of pool play, opportunities that lead to the knockout round. So there's always a chance, but you hit the nail on the head, Glenn, with your question, is that you're going to probably be as tight to the center of the Olympic portfolio as possible with that. But because we have so many countries coming, across the United States, landing in New York, landing in Philly, landing in Baltimore, landing in D.C., et cetera, it might make sense for a place like Baltimore on the I-95 corridor around major airport hubs to be one of those qualifying rounds because you take a day of travel and a day of rest potentially before then they make the lift to L.A.
That's interesting. I feel like maybe that's like a stay tuned type of thing, perhaps then.
It is definitely a stay tuned.
All right, we'll take stay tuned. Similar, there has been a lot of hubbub this week that perhaps one of the cities that was awarded a World Cup host is no longer going to be hosting the World Cup in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Is there any chance at all, or is that dead and stop? We tried, we gave everything we had. There's no chance we can get back into that.
There is always a chance. We are monitoring closely what's going on with LA and the World Cup. We are constantly in communication with FIFA and their group to make sure that we're front of mind should they have to make an emergency decision. So it's not dead. It has air there. and it has a heartbeat, but it's not going to be the biggest pulse that you've ever seen at this current time. But we're paying attention.
I appreciate that. Do we have like deadline? Some of the other the hosting training things like that. Event. Do we know any more about when we might find out that type of information?
So the schedule for the entire World Cup process is supposed to come out at the end of the month. So we're waiting to hear what the schedule will be. We've had various site visits behind the scenes as it pertains to training camps and or base camps for when the teams are training leading into the World Cup. We are in constant communication with the team to ensure that, again, when they have to make decisions on matches or training or whatever, we're right there front and center. And then we're ensuring ourselves that we have the best opportunity to land a piece of, of the World Cup should it come calling.
All right. And then my last one is what is a memorandum of understanding, Terry? Like you know how this goes. So the Orioles make a huge dramatic announcement and everybody's very excited, and then in the next couple days people are like, "Wait a second, what is this? What's really happening here?" Can you, as again, remember you take your time to talk to a dumb guy, explain to me, is everything good here? Do we have an official understanding? Is it just dotting I's and crossing T's at this point? Or is there still anything that needs to be solved here? Should we be as celebratory as we were the night it was announced?
I think you should be celebratory as the night that was, but there's still work to be done. And in all fairness, Glenn, I have to punt that question over to our chairman, Craig Thompson, and the executive director of the Stadium Authority, Mike Friend, to respond and answer. I don't want to step outside my lane.
Sure.
You want to talk 5-star and you want to talk about all the great sports happening in the state of Maryland, I'm there for you. But I'm going to leave that one to the folks that are actually in the room doing the conversation.
All right, then before I let you go, tell me what else should be on our radar. What else should we be thinking about? What else is exciting in your world? What else are we working on as a state?
We're working on a lot of, especially stuff in the youth and amateur sports market. We have the Governor's Challenge coming up here at the end of the year. Obviously, one of the biggest high school basketball tournaments in the entire country happening out in Wycomico County.
Yep.
We have, upcoming soccer and lacrosse events. Obviously, Oak Glory just signed a commitment to play rugby at the Soccerplex in Germantown. So all kinds of really good things moving. Our partners across the state are doing a tremendous job, through our Team Maryland partnership, securing great pieces of business and sport business for the state of Maryland. You name it, it's happening here in Maryland. There's just too many to talk about, Glenn. I could sit here for hours and just list off the various events that are coming to this state, because folks like myself and my team, along with our Team Maryland partnership and our consultants in the consultancy group, just leading the charge and making sure that we're keeping our eye on the ball and making sure that Maryland is the sports destination in the United States when it comes to both domestic and international sports events.
Terry, I swear I know this is my last one because it was just brought up to me by a listener named Jake, and it's a great question. The question is the arena. I know that Frank has said, look, it's a music venue first. It's an event concert venue first. But has there been any conversation about perhaps, we know the CIAA tournament is definitely going to continue for a little while, but there maybe being more that could come as far as big sporting events at the arena?
The answer to that question is yes, and we are doing some exploring with the folks at the arena as well as Visit Baltimore. So the answer to your question is yes, and that's a stay tuned. Hopefully in early 2024 we'll be able to talk about some of those things that are on the horizon.
That sounds pretty good to me. Terry Hasseltine, looking forward to the 5-star this weekend. Everybody getting out to Fair Hill. An amazing event and a major, major event for our state that's worth supporting. Always appreciate taking the time for us. Thanks for hopping on with me this morning, Terry.
No, my pleasure. Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate it.
Terry Hasseltine, Executive Director of Maryland Sports, with us here on GCR. Yeah, SoFi Stadium has basically just said, we're not doing it. Stan Kroenke basically just said, no. Which is weird. I would think that, I know it has something to do with the surface, right? That they didn't want to do.
It would have to be, right?
Hang on a second. SoFi Stadium is apparently not willing to make changes. Let me make sure I have this right. I don't. This is coming to me from the Daily Mail, which means that it probably started somewhere else. Just being as honest as I can about it. Private boxes or sections of the stands would have to be removed to widen the space around the field to accommodate a soccer pitch, which would be a costly renovation that owner Stan Kroenke, who also owns the Arsenal and Denver Nuggets, has reportedly opted against making. Quote, it had design problems. No one told Mr. Kroenke that they didn't plan for a soccer field and that it has to get rid of those boxes. The information that I have is that SoFi Stadium is no longer going to be a World Cup venue because the stadium's owner said, quote, for what it is going to cost me, best skip it, unquote. Now,
well,
that's interesting. Terry Hasseltine, I think, was very guarded in what he said. Like, don't get your hopes up. The belief at the time of the announcement was that Baltimore, the DC Baltimore bid was the first one, the first loser of the bids. So it would be easy to say, well, if LA's out, right? Like, don't you go to the first runner-up? Isn't that how that works out? One, nothing here is official, and maybe, like, collectively U.S. Soccer gets together with the Stan Kroenke and says, well, what if we work to make you whole because it's too important to us to have LA be a host? The secondary question would be, is there another venue in L.A., as much as we would scoff at it, could the Rose Bowl, which hosted in 94, host again all these years later? Clearly it does not have the facilities as far as it does have luxury boxes up top. Actually, there's a lot of them up top. It's more of an older stadium, of course, but it's also a historic stadium that has hosted significant soccer events on top of all the football that it's hosted. I could see where it wouldn't be ideal for a summer event to be playing like.
It was where the '99 Women's World
The
Cup
Women's
final.
World Cup but they also hosted in '94.
In '94 as well.
And it might have been the final in '94. I don't know where else the final would have been in '94 if it wasn't at the Rose Bowl. We don't. The U.S. didn't win, so we don't remember it the way that remember Brandi Chastain ripping her shirt off in '99. We all remember that. Where was the '94 World Cup final? 1994 World Cup final.
See, went to penalties. Brazil taking down Italy.
It was at the Rose Bowl. Correct.
Okay.
So there's a lot of history there. Now, I don't know what the Rose Bowl is doing in relation to the Olympics. I know the Coliseum is going to be a big part of the Olympics. I don't know if the Rose Bowl is supposed to have a similar role with the Olympics. So I don't know if that, like preparing the Rose Bowl for the Olympics, impacts whether or not the Rose Bowl could be a World Cup host 2 years earlier. I would think that's the most likely scenario here, is that they still decide that the LA market is important enough to them that even if they can't, like it sucks to lose SoFi Stadium, but we're not going to lose LA. And they can default to the history at the Rose Bowl and say, well, it'd be neat to have, the World Cup at the Rose Bowl. And that probably means they're out for the final. And the final ends up going to Dallas or...
That's what it was, MetLife or Dallas.
Yeah, New York. But still keeps LA in the World Cup conversation and doesn't allow Baltimore to sneak its way back in. But if for some reason it's not an option to just punt over to the Rose Bowl and host there, or Stan Kroenke's mind can't be changed by, somebody throwing wads of cash at him, which there's nothing more FIFA than throwing wads of cash at someone. There is nothing that says soccer more than that. If those things aren't options, then, that's why I asked the question, right? Like, and I thought Terry Hasseltine's answer was basically like yeah. We're monitoring it, but I think it's also honest. It's probably not a thing. Probably not a thing. It's probably not as simple as you were the first runner-up and the winner couldn't fulfill their obligations, and so you become.
We'll go to Baltimore.
Right,
Yeah,
you become the winner now. It's not quite that simple. It seems more likely that it will be, whether it's them going back and negotiating with Stan Kroenke. I didn't think about that because they do have those immediate boxes right on the field, which I don't know what that. I've never been to a stadium and sat in one of those things. Like, how can that be a pleasant experience sitting behind everybody on the sideline?
And not being able to see what happens on the other side of the field.
Like, I understand for some people it's just status. Like, that's all. I was.
Where's Taylor Swift going to sit when
That's a great question,
the
right?
Chiefs go there?
I would think in one of the boxes, because they have boxes.
One of the higher ups.
Yeah, they have boxes
where you
up
can actually
high.
see.
Right, I would think that's where. But maybe it's such a status thing to say, like, I'm on the field, that you don't care that you can't see the game.
Yeah, because then Travis can run up and, like, give her a hug right after he scores a touchdown.
That's true. That's why do you care so much about this? Why do you
I'm trying to defend these boxes that Stan Kroenke inexplicably built.
Well, yeah, but, like, people, they're clearly in use.
And
like,
it's not worth it to him to,
Wasn't the crazy Chargers later talking about how she, like, sits in the cabanas sometimes?
Oh, yeah, she was.
I mean, they clearly like these things. I don't know, maybe if it's like maybe if you get that box, you can go down there before the game, and then you also get a seat somewhere else during the game if you spend an amount of money, so you can have like
$1 billion,
a chill place to hang out and like entertain people before the game, and then like when you want to watch the football game, you can actually go back to real seats and sit in real seats during the football game. I don't know, man. I'll never swim in these waters. This will never be a problem that your pal's going to have to deal with. Old GC is never going to have to think about whether or not he's going to need to be sitting in the field level boxes at SoFi Stadium or any other stadium for that matter. I will tell you, though, I do understand the people that, like, they don't care. If it gives them status, it's a much smaller – oh, my God. I was talking about this with my brother-in-law recently. On a drastically smaller level, Mrs. Clark has a problem with this on a way smaller level. So we live in northern Baltimore County, and there is a restaurant, and I will not name this restaurant, but it's mid. But they charge prices like they were outstanding.
It's the only.
It's become like a status thing. It's out there, and I'm going to the blank place. Meanwhile, over like in Hereford, there's a wood fire pizza place that's delicious. It's outstanding. It's not remotely pretentious. It's kind of rustic. It's great. The food's great. The atmosphere's great. The people are great. The food is better at this place than it is at this other place. This other place's food is mid AF. But it's sort of elegant. It's nice. It's statusy. And Mrs. Clark loves that place.
So that
because she likes feeling like she's hoity-toity.
So you can tell people, last night
I was at the, like this place. I'm not going to trash this place because who knows? Maybe there'll be a sponsor next week.
Tyus Bowser Show.
All right. Yeah, maybe that's what we're going to do the next show. And then I'm going to feel really stupid if I trashed it. There's actually a couple of places like that are up by us. There's some that are.
You hate them all.
I mean, like you guys know, they'll never spend a dime, but like you guys know how I feel about Pierce's. It's the best restaurant in the area. That like of that. And by the way, I get it. That area, there's not a lot of restaurants there, like so I'm not comparing it to much. But I love that place. We talk about it regularly. That place is amazing. But there are other places out that way that like think they're amazing, and they're fine. In some cases, not even fine. But they charge you money like you are at a fine dining establishment. Like you are, that restaurant that they sent what's his face to work at during season 2 of The Bear.
I didn't watch The Bear.
Oh, get that!
I know.
What are you doing, Jake? Did you watch The Bear?
Did not.
What the hell do you watch? How old are you, Jake?
21.
And you're God.
Yeah.
What do you watch?
Oh,
The Bear was like everybody in the country watched The Bear.
It's on the long list of stuff, Watching Survivor right now, obviously, like that's.
For F's sake.
That matters.
No, it doesn't.
Only reality show I'll watch.
What is this? How have I found the 2 people that still watch Survivor? I can't get you to talk about The Bear. Which everyone loved.
The new episode tonight, Survivor.
No.
Get
out.
I'm dressing up as Jeff Probst for one
What
night
is?
Halloween.
Are you? Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I do want to. I want to go. I don't know if you can pull it off. I want to go as shrugging Kevin James. I just want to get what he's wearing in the picture and see if people pick up on it and see if like people know until I do the, thing. But that's my goal for this year. It seems like a very simplistic costume.
Yeah, that could work.
To be shrugging Kevin James. Find out how I can see if somebody has already given.
I'm sure you have a.
But it's got to be specifically that. You know what I mean? Like
right.
I want it to specifically be exactly what he's wearing. See if anyone on the internet is aware that people want to go as shrugging Kevin James for Halloween, and they have made a starter kit for you. Mrs. Clark wanted to do a Barbie and Ken thing. I was like, Maybe
be
not.
good.
Maybe one of the other sets of Barbies and Kens from the movie. Maybe we go that route because I don't think I'm going to be confused with Ryan Gosling at any point. I'm pretty sure that no one is going to walk in like, yeah, I know who you are. You're Ryan Gosling. I think she wanted to do the rollerblading Barbie and Ken. Like she wanted to do the very colorful costumes. I don't think that's going to work. I think we're going to have to pick out a different couple set from. I'd like to do the.
Yeah, the rollerblade would be good. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, come
no,
on.
it wouldn't be.
It'd be fun.
What was the Casa Day? What did he call it when he
Casa
created it?
de Kent. I mean.
No, it
like,
was like it had some stupid, dude centric name like. Oh God damn it!
The Casa Mojo Dojo.
Oh,
House.
yeah.
Thank you,
yeah.
Casa Mojo Dojo House. Ken, that was the one.
With the big or the
yeah,
big,
the belt buckle and the whole thing, man. That Ken, I think I might be a little interested in. That might be a Ken that we consider. But I don't think we're going to go as traditional or stereotypical Barbie. I don't think we're going to go that route. But she was very excited about the idea of being stereotypical Barbie for Halloween. So, I don't know. If you have not made Halloween plans yet, cool community event coming up Saturday, October 28th. Public Safety Building, 700 East Joppa Road in Towson with the Baltimore County Police Department. It's a trunk or treat event, so a very safe place. A lot of you, my kids are still at the age that, like, when we tell them that they still have to walk around with us for trick-or-treating, they'll be okay with that. But my older son in the next couple of years is not going to be okay with that anymore. And if you're in that sort of fine line of kids do not want you trick-or-treating with them, but you're not comfortable yet with them trick-or-treating by themselves, this is the perfect solution. Bring them by to this event on October 28th, the trunk or treat with the Baltimore County Police Department. You can watch from a distance. Let them walk around, get their candy, put their costume on. Very safe environment. It's a great idea. If you also happen to be thinking about a career in the Baltimore County Police Department, this is the day to go over and find out more. Talk to members of the specialized units. If you say, I don't know if I want to be a patrol officer, well, there are other opportunities in the Baltimore County Police Department for career advancement. Find out what could be there for you. And if you're ready to make a commitment, you can go through the application process, take the written test, take the agility test, all right there on the scene. And again, if I can pass the agility test, this guy, look at this face. Look at me. Did you watch Saturday Night Live? Did you see the Deion Sanders thing?
Yeah.
I've watched it multiple times.
It's very good. It's very good. Look at me. Now look over here. Now look at Colin. Now look at these fingers. Boop. Oh, God, it was perfect. It was perfect. Look at me. If I can pass the agility test, you can pass the agility test. I'm 1,000 years old. 1,000. My blood type is Chick-fil-A sauce.
It's true, yeah.
Look at me. If I can do it, you can do it too. Find out more. Join BaltimoreCountyPD.com. That's the website. Give them a call, 410-887-5542. We come back in. It's Would You Rather Wednesday. That's next. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Come for a game, stay for everything else. Book an unforgettable fall getaway in Charm City. Enjoy only in Baltimore festivals, mouthwatering eats, and endless entertainment. Treat yourself to a staycation in the heart of downtown, or try one of the city's many charming neighborhood hotels. And don't miss out on packages for free parking, breakfast, and more. Plan your stay at baltimore.org/hotels.
Why bet with the big boys this football season? Instead, try your hand with the local book, Superbook Sports, this fall. Superbook Sports is the book next door. Just a dedicated team of the best odds makers in Las Vegas, making sure you get the best prices and parlays anywhere. And now, Superbook will give you a bonus of up to $250 when you sign up and wager on the same day and use the promo code GlennClark23, GLENNCLARK23. So bet with the best and use the promo code GlennClark23 this football season with Superbook Sports. Visit Superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
6 chicken tenders made from fresh, never frozen Royal Farms world-famous chicken, a family-sized order of Western fries, honey mustard dipping sauce, and a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper. It's Royal Farms' new Tucker's Tenders Meal. It's Justin Tucker's favorite, and at only $19.99, it'll be your favorite meal, too. The new Tucker's Tenders Meal, available only at Royal Farms. Now you can kick back, relax, and eat like a champion. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The Maryland 5-Star returns to iconic Fair Hill October 19th to 22nd, marking the next chapter in Maryland's equestrian tradition. Best described as the triathlon of horse eventing, you won't want to miss this thrilling sport. Enjoy a fall festival with local fare, retail vendors, and tons of family fun. Come for the event and stay for the experience in Cecil County, home to the Chesapeake Bay waterfront with vibrant small towns and accommodations to suit every desire. It's the place to be in October. Visit Maryland5star.us for tickets.
What's up, everyone? It's Tyus Bowser, and I've had so much fun hanging out with Rita and putting up with Glenn the last couple years that I've decided to do it again. Season 3 of the Tyus Bowser Show is happening this year, as we'll be all over town, giving you the chance to get to know me and some of my teammates. As we talk football, life in general, and just say what needs to be said. You can find out more about the show by going to PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser. If you don't live in the area, you can watch the shows live on Facebook and YouTube. And if you miss one, you can listen Friday nights at 105.7 The Fan. So we'll see you all season long for the Tyus Bowser Show, a partnership of PressBox and Great Ace Memorabilia.
The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, November 7th at Guilford Home Brewery in Station North. It's brought to you by AJ Michaels, Superbook Sports, and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org.
What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria? AJ Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis, ajmichaels.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Make sure you're tuned in every Tuesday for PressBox fantasy football analyst Joe Serpico to get you ready for your Waiver Wire Wednesday, brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel. And if you have other fantasies you want fulfilled, subscribe to Glenn and Jeremy Kahn's OnlyFans page at... Wait, are people supposed to know about that?
New print issue of PressBox is available now. Now! Get to your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find PressBox. Read all of it at PressBoxOnline.com. Jake, were you involved with this new print issue of PressBox at all?
I'm not in putting it together.
No? Okay. I thought that maybe that might have been one of your... I think you'll get an opportunity as your internship continues to be involved with the next print issue of PressBox, perhaps.
Awesome.
Or a coming issue, one way or the other. On the cover, Todd Karpovich, a great story about the survivors. As, these are the players, the position players, that were a part of the Dan Duquette regime that stuck through very difficult times, probably wondered if they would ever see prosperity here in Baltimore, and ended up being significant parts of the Orioles' return to prominence. So a great story about Santander and Mullins and Mountcastle and Hayes. Also inside, a lot of tributes to Brooks Robinson, Jim Henneman, Stan the Fan Charles. The 15 this month is a look back on the 15 moments from Brooks Robinson's career and life. And then college basketball previews, conversations with players from all the D1 programs around the state inside this print issue of PressBox, which is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find PressBox, or you can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Speaking of college basketball previews, I am working on our college basketball preview show for this year. We were behind a little bit because Orioles were in the playoffs. Also, the week that we were thinking about doing it, Griffin is not going to be here, and so it's a little bit of a heavy task. There's a heavy lift involved with this particular show. So all I can say is we're working on it. We're working on it. We have the intent to do a college basketball preview show again this year with Patrick Stevens and all of the area coaches. But it's just a bit more tricky than I thought it was going to be. We might have to do it on Thursday. Then we got to bump picks to another. It's a whole thing. It's a whole deal, man. But our goal is to do a college basketball preview show again this year. All right. Let's get into Would You Rather Win. The Talking Heads getting back together to do the Colbert Show tonight? You're the one who prepares Tubular. Are the Talking Heads back together? It's a really big deal, man. I know that you're 20, so it doesn't mean anything to you whatsoever. But that you should be ashamed of that.
Okay.
That's not something you should say with pride.
I'm ashamed.
Yes, that's a really big deal. I gotta know more about that, man.
All right, we'll tune in to Colbert tonight. Little Tubular preview.
Heads.
As well as Survivor.
Members of the Talking Heads. Is it all of them? Hang on a second. Members of the Talking
You're
Heads.
asking. I mean,
Shut up, you. The lineup of original band members: Tina Weymouth, David Byrne. Do you know why David Byrne's particularly significant?
because he's from Arbutus, right?
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. Well
Yeah.
done. Chris France and Jerry Harrison will be included in the forthcoming. Not Jerry Hairston. Oh, they're in conversation. I don't think they're playing music together. They're just talking about because there was
in the same room.
the anniversary of Stop Making Sense. It's the 40th anniversary of what's considered to be the greatest concert movie ever made. And it's been shown in theaters. And also, of course, right now, no actors can appear on any of these late night shows. So they've got to go heavy on music. I'm surprised they haven't done more sports guests on the late night shows since they've come back. I'm surprised we haven't seen LeBron James pop up and do stuff like that because it's somebody you can get. I did see that they announced Nate Bargatze as hosting Saturday Night Live in a couple of weeks, which is cool because he's great. He's very funny. I love that. All right, now, Would You Rather Wednesday. Would You Rather Wednesday is brought to you by Birdland Sports. Someone who participates is going to, I know that on Twitter it's been drowned out this morning by all the Tyus Bowser stuff, so I just tried retweeting it. Maybe we'll try again later, but go to @Glenn_Clark_Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn_Clark_Radio. Get your responses in for Would You Rather Wednesday. Someone will win a T-shirt of their choice from our friends at Birdland Sports, birdlandsports.com, where they have lots of great gear. I'm gonna let you be included, Jake. You're gonna get your responses. Jake, are you a Baltimore sports fan? Did where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Ellicott City. Mom is from Philly, though.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
It's also her birthday, so shout out, Mom.
Okay, happy birthday, Mom.
I'm
sure she's very
Eagles
excited
and
right
then
now.
Ravens.
Wait,
And
what
then
is?
And then Orioles and then
You're-
Philly. So I split them.
God, you're like the. But what does that mean? Is it because I'm here, I root for them, or which one do you? There's got to be I actually in my blood care about. You're not allowed to have in your blood two teams.
So it's
you
the
can,
Eagles for football, but the Orioles for baseball.
It's very weird, man. It's
I know.
very, very weird.
I know.
I don't care for it whatsoever. But you were from here.
Yes.
Deal with that at another time. I don't have time to deal with it right now.
But I still I.
But how did you
I root
pick?
for the Ravens.
How did you pick?
Mom's side of the family, the grandparents just got us a ton of Eagles gear when my brothers and I were younger. So.
But they didn't care about the Phillies. They didn't get you any of that gear, and so
No.
really weird. That's very, very weird. So my wife's grandfather spent 2 seasons with the Eagles years ago. I mean, was a nothing player.
Gotcha.
Now, all respect, I never met the man. He passed right after my wife and I met. I great respect for the man. But I'm trying to think of a comparable. I'm trying to think of a Raven that I could compare it to, and I'm not even sure that I can come up with one. Oh God, there was Bawonkwo. What was that guy's Luke? Luke. Oh my God, what was this guy's name? Luke Bawonkwo.
I don't know this one.
Hang on a second. It was an offensive lineman that played Ravens. Bawonkwo. Am I gonna come up with something? I'm never gonna come up with it. I'm never gonna figure out who this guy is that I'm trying to think of. Ravens offensive lineman. I came from the.
What was his first name?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just guessing. But that's how irrelevant it is. And my comparison is it's like that.
Luke Bawanko.
Bawanko? Is that
yeah.
How do you spell it?
Bowanko.
Bowanko. Luke Bawanko.
He was with the Ravens in 2017.
Spent maybe not even the whole season, perhaps.
Yeah, he played 16 games in 2017. Okay. Or yeah. Well,
starting one at left tackle
active, yeah,
in place of the injured Ronnie Stanley. It would be like your grandfather years from now was Luke Bawanko, and so you feel some inclination to support the Ravens because of it.
Well, he played on 6 teams though, so
Her grandfather did not. Her grandfather played like 2 years in the NFL, and they were both with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, he was a hero. He was an American hero. He served.
Luke Bowanko's from Annapolis. He was born in Annapolis.
Oh, God damn it. Now you're trying to make me feel bad about how I'm treating Luke Bowanko. Find out he's listening today.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? I'm catching strays. Her grandfather was not even Luke Bowanko. Her grandfather was try to come up with somebody who played 2 years. That was it. Didn't do anything. It was an offensive lineman, so it's not even like a position where you would remember him making a play. And yet, all the time, when the Eagles are on, my wife will turn to my sons like, and we're rooting for the Eagles tonight. They're like, what? And my sons will bring it up to me like, who's your second favorite team? I'm like, I don't have a second favorite team. That is not a thing to me. And they're like, my second favorite team is the Eagles because of mom's Grampy. I'm like, God.
I mean, I had a second, it varied, but I always had a second favorite team growing up.
No, that's because you're a child.
Well, yeah.
When you're a child, adults shouldn't have second favorite teams. This is like what you do because you get broken up with by a girl, and you're like, well, I wanted to have another girl. No, be committed or not. One way or the other. Have a commitment in your life. Moral of the story is, we're playing Would You Rather Wednesday. Would you rather number 1?
All right.
Would you rather the Ravens indeed are going to be active at the trade deadline? I want this to be clear. This is not about the player, just about the position. They're going to be active. Would you rather for a similar cost than bring in a special edge rusher or a special running back? So, whether it's Brian Burns or Saquon Barkley, this isn't really about the player. It's about the position. Which would you rather?
It's quite simple as, how I view running backs as, not, quite as important as a position like edge rush. So to me, this is quite easy. I will go with an edge rusher, whether it's Danielle Hunter, Chase Young, whoever.
I don't know if Chase Young even qualifies as special anymore, does he? I mean,
well, I would take him over Saquon Barkley
You would still put him over Saquon Barkley?
Yes.
Okay. Jake?
I mean, I'd have to agree. You don't see many running backs getting paid these days. You can mask their issues by just
I hear everything.
It is clear the Ravens are not running the football particularly well with their running back position right now.
It's easy. This is the
But
dumb.
I mean, how do we know Saquon's going to fix that?
I don't know if Saquon's going to fix that. But it's this thing where we're like, well, anybody can find a running. Well, are they finding running backs right now? Are they being helped by their running backs at the moment? We always come back to this. It's always easy for us to say, like, you don't. This is why nobody pays running backs. Okay, well, how's it going? How's it look right now?
I still think it's easier to stop a good running back than it is a good edge rusher. So if you have a better edge rusher, it's harder to game plan against that.
Okay. I think that I agree. I think my answer would still be edge rusher. Like, just between the positions, I would prioritize
maybe
it.
If you said trade for one Panther and it's Brian Burns or Chuba Hubbard.
No, that would not be.
And the cost is,
Jesus
different
Christ.
for each one.
When you say, like, I would definitely have Burns and Danielle Hunter over him, but if the question was Chase Young or Saquon Barkley, I don't know how I'd feel about that. I don't know. I still you're probably right. I would still default. You probably are, but I would have to think about it a little bit more between the two of them. I had a couple people bring up Derrick Henry, like is the option Derrick Henry? Because then it does get interesting, right? Like that's the guy that you feel like could run even if your system ain't right, even if your, offensive line ain't fully right. Like that's the guy that you feel like could maybe get the job done anyway. If it was Derrick Henry or Chase Young,
then it's closer. And we're saying the cost is the same?
Yeah, similar. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But between just the positions, I probably will agree with you and default to edge rush. Number 2, would you rather? Major League Baseball. It's something we've been talking about for a little while. They got to fix the layoff issue. It's clearly a thing. So would you rather they convert the wild card round back to 1 game and expand the division series to 7, or they go ahead and make it 8 playoff teams per league and everybody plays during the wild card round?
I like that. I liked having the 1-game wild card playoff, so I will go with that.
I loved
7 games in the DS.
Except for in 2016 where I did not love it. It was not great then.
But it still gives me a chance, I mean, yeah, it sucks when your team loses, but it still gives me a chance to get really excited
but
for
it
this
creates
one
a
game
scenario
between all these teams that I frankly don't care
when we
about
talk
so
about
much.
what's unfair, it creates a scenario where who would have been the 8th seed in the American League this year? Hang on a second. American League standings. So the Mariners would have been the 7th seed, obviously. The 8th seed would have been the Yankees. Is that who would have gotten it? Yeah, the Yankees are the only other team over 500 in the American League. So the Yankees would have been the 8th seed.
Yeah,
It creates a scenario where the Orioles would have had to have played one game, despite being 20 games better than the Yankees. One game.
Wait, that.
Oh,
so
no,
wait,
you're going the
that's
other.
right.
You're not expanding it to
Yeah,
8.
yeah.
Sorry. Got it.
Yes.
I got it. I understand. You're saying,
So
I just put
if
the two
they
together.
went to 8, it would be a best of 3.
It would still be a best of 3,
And
right?
the DS is best of 5, and then best of
Yep.
7.
Everything else would stay the same if it was 8.
We talk about the NBA playoffs and not it being a joke, but every team is
It's
making
a joke. An 8 seed could never make the finals. That could never happen, ever.
I mean, they'll probably. I don't think they'll ever go back. I would rather go back to the one-game wild card, one game wild card round where the 4 and the 5 square off, and for a chance at the. And then I think making the DS best of 7 would make it more fun. Gives that 4 and 5.
I would
seed
make
actual
the
chance.
more apropos thing is to say that you could be the team that's the 3 seed. As I said, you could have a scenario where the 3 seed is a team that wins. I mean, hell, the Rays won 99 games this year, but you could create a scenario where the 3 seed is a division winner that won 105 games in a year where all the division winners won just it just happened to be that it was 105 or 106, 105, 105, and the third of the group is 105 wins. And yet they now have to play a one-game scenario with their life on the line.
Right.
And the team that they're playing could be significantly worse than them, but just happen to have one starting pitcher that on that one day shuts them down, and now their 105-win season is for naught in one day.
Can we just add the third option, or we just reseed? So
No,
that way,
we're not. I
that
gave
way
it no,
the
no,
Orioles and Rays would have been the 1-2.
no. It's Would You Rather Wednesday. You pick one or the other, Griffin. That's the way that it works.
This one should work. They should go back, because then if you make it a best of 7, that does, obviously ESPN wants to have that wild card series so that they can, get the networks can have those. But if you go to a best of 7 in the DS, hopefully that evens things out. Maybe you give ESPN one of the DSs, and then Fox has 2 and CBS has 1, or whatever, however it works. It's more games. So I would like to go back to the 5-game, or the 5-team, 5 teams from each league, and then the 1-game playoff.
All right. Jake?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just more intensity packed into that one game. It's just so much more fun. There's so much more on the line. I think you get a true test of how good each team is in one game. It's a bullpen game for both teams. It's so much more intensity packed into a shorter amount of time.
As a viewer, as I told you guys, I love the one game. I mean, the one-game playoff was just chef's kiss of what baseball can be. But it would also be wrong. Inherent. This is such a difficult thing. It's a selfish thing where, give me the one-game playoff. I want a one-game playoff. Until you're the team that, again, won 105 games, and now your season comes down to one game, and you're like, what the F? What the F is happening here?
Then win more games if you don't want to.
No, that's not the answer. It's terribly unfair.
Royals went all the way. I mean, the year they won, I guess they won the division. But, in 2014, they went all the way.
Well, they got to the World Series.
They got to the World Series,
They got to the World Series winning a one-game playoff. Nobody's saying you can't win the one-game playoff. It's just not fair for that to be how you decide. And we all know that baseball, it's not fair to have things decided by one game. It's easier to say, well, to these teams, well, you should have won more games. I guess the Rays will say, how many more games are we supposed to win?
More than the Orioles.
That's what makes this so difficult. How many more? At some point, the regular season, if you're going to play 162 games, then the regular season probably should matter. And if it comes down and boils down to a one-game playoff, it's great television. It's amazing theater. But it seems like you still have a fairness problem. I think that it'd be the more fair thing to do if you said you either...
8 teams is too many.
Why?
Because it is.
Because
it's
you've decided
baseball.
so.
Yeah,
but that's the easy thing to say. I'm not telling you that I think there need to be 8 teams in the playoffs. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I would argue, though, that, like, if there was any sport that it made sense, it would be a sport like baseball where, you know, if you go 82-80 like the Yankees went, then at some point this season you were a good team. This isn't like basketball where you could be bad all year and still somehow finagle your way into the playoffs. Well, now everybody makes the playoffs in the NBA because they have, on top of it, they have the play-in round. Like, you can be not even mid. You can be flat bad and still be allowed to participate in the playoffs.
So we would have got the Cubs in, and then the Reds and the Padres would have been tied for the eighth seed in the National League at 82-80 as well.
So I don't know who.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who would have gotten the tiebreaker between those two teams.
If they got to bring back 163.
None of those teams inherently sound like they were completely unworthy of getting the opportunity to play in a 3-game playoff series on the road.
I mean, maybe you're right, because remember that Reds-Braves series in like June. That
yeah,
was like that. That's
what
the
the
matchup
juice
would have been. It would have been.
We
Reds
also had
Braves.
juice for the Reds when they came to Baltimore. Like we were like, wow, this feels big. This feels exciting, and they have exciting players. I get it. There will inevitably
the answer's 5 teams.
There will inevitably be years where that 8th seed is under 500. Like there just aren't 8 teams above 500 in each league. That will happen ultimately. But even within a 162-game season, a team that finishes with 80 wins probably still had a stretch where they were very good during the course of the season. You can't really mask your way there in a sport like baseball when you're playing so many games. Inevitably, there was probably a month or two where they were very good, and then they couldn't withstand that, and that for different reasons they would be deserving. I'm in favor. You could also do the wacky bit where, like, you did a first half champion, like guaranteed that, like, if you had in the first half of the season to try to make those games more compelling down the stretch, like you clinch a playoff spot no matter what happens in the second half of the year. You could do some things like that if you wanted to expand out to 8 teams instead of saying it's just the teams with the 8 best records. You could try to make it so that, like, there was a mini pennant race down the stretch in, like, June and do a first half thing where, like, you clinch your spot in the playoffs
like
no matter what.
AAA and
But the AAA is different because that's like you have you have, you know, first half and a second half champion, and those are the teams that get in. I'm saying you would still, the second half of the season would still matter for you trying to win the division and improving your seeding and all that, but it would guarantee, and it would make it interesting for those teams that were competing late in the first half, that, like, it would guarantee no matter what that you're in. And so then you could make some decisions based on that in the second half, knowing that you were comfortably in, but presumably those teams are still going to be the teams competing to get home field advantage. Number 3, would you rather? There has been a secret camera your entire life.
Uh-oh.
Every time you've been watching the Ravens and Orioles, or the Eagles and Orioles, they have recorded all of your mannerisms. They have recorded all of the things that you have said while watching games. And a video compilation is going to go out today. This was inspired by Chargers Lady. A video compilation is going to go out and go viral today of how you have acted, the worst of how you have acted for your entire life of watching games. Or, same thing, but it is all of your interactions that you have ever had in your life while attempting to talk to someone of the opposite, or if you prefer, same sex. When you've been out at a bar, when you've been wherever it is, anytime you've attempted, there has been a camera. And a similar compilation has been made and will go out today and will go viral of all of those interactions. Which would you rather?
Well, I guess the sports thing, because, I mean, I'm sure I definitely don't have too many flattering reactions, and definitely get worked up about, I mean, when you're a kid and the Ravens get knocked out of the playoffs, and then you're very upset. I guess that would be part of it. But you're a kid, so you can get, that kind of defends it. I guess I would go with the sports thing. I think, it wouldn't be
as embarrassing, you don't think? You think that the other would be more embarrassing?
Yeah.
That's just because you're not as smooth as your boy GC. That's just the problem that you have there, Jake.
I do the sports.
I think there are people that are saying that, but, like, have forgotten maybe some of the terrible things that they have said in moments while watching sports games. Like, I think that's part of the problem, is that we can remember all of the cringe moments about trying to, like, pick up chicks. We're like, oh yeah, I don't want anybody to see that. That was cringe AF. But I don't know that we remember all of the flippant things that we might have said in the entirety of our lives. And I know you guys are much younger, watching games, watching our teams, the names that we might have called certain people.
Definitely nothing worse than like stupid head.
Yeah, definitely nothing worse than stupid head. And like this is gonna go viral. Like that time that Adam Jones swung at a ball and you said this, Adam Jones is gonna see it. He's gonna know
all those things I said
what
about
you
Ryan
said.
Mountcastle.
Yeah, what you said about Ryan Mountcastle this season when he was dealing with vertigo. What a piece of crap you are. Think about it. Think about that before you answer this question.
I still think I'd go with the sports. I think people would watch that compilation and say, "Wow, he's just a passionate sports guy. He cares about his team." If people were to watch the other one, they'd just be like,
I think you've said things that you would not like people seeing. I think that it would be bad. I think that all of us, you might lose a job over it.
Right.
For as long as I've been allowed to say the kind of things that I do during sports. I've been an Eagles fan, and they've been good.
No, that's wait a second. But like
Orioles.
when you're an Eagles fan, I think they birth you saying the F word. Like I think it's like the first words that come out of your mouth. Like
see, but that's another
mama, daddy, F the Giants. I'm pretty sure are the first things that you say.
I think I pride myself on being a realistic Eagles fan because I know the stereotype that surrounds most of us, and so I genuinely don't say that kind of stuff. And I also haven't had a reason to. I mean, we lost the Super Bowl, but we've been winning the past couple of years, so it hasn't given me like a reason to be.
Dude, nobody is saying that you. But when you watch games, you lose your mind.
Yeah.
You lose your mind in every circumstance. You separate from reality. You detach yourself when watching games. You just start saying insane things, over nothing. You're even wrong about the thing that you're mad at. It's like the everybody's screaming about the thing against Pittsburgh where Marlon Humphrey gives up the touchdown when like the truth is that they wanted him to give up the touchdown there. That's what they were trying to have him do. But we were all MFing the guy. Every single this saying terrible things about him that he's going to see, and it's Marlon. So you know he's going to say it, and you know he's going to clap, and you know he is going to dog you, and you are not going to be welcome because of it. You are going to deal with the wrath afterwards. And you were wrong.
So you think this would impact my career
forward? I think that you are not willing to consider that.
What kind of career ramifications would the other option have?
I don't know. That's the weird part about it, is like as cringe as it would be to watch all of my interactions with females before I was like after I was like 22, I'm pretty sure they stopped.
Smooth operator.
I know this is going to sound like, but I really, like at some point in my life, I was like, oh, I'm funny. I'm good here. Like, don't. Also, it's like part of it is my being a reporter, right? Ask my wife why it is that she like was attached to me the first night we met. Because I asked questions and I listened. It wasn't that hard. At the end of the night, like she would be telling me things and I'd be like, "Oh, you went to Del Val?" Like, she was like, "Wow, you were really listening to me." I'm like, "Yeah, I really was. Like, that's what I do for a living. Is I listen to people. Like, I don't just, block it all out. It's not BS for me. I got to a place in my life where it was far easier for me to talk to women, probably quicker than for a lot of people, and part of it is because of what I do, right? Like, when you do this, when you're used to asking questions, having conversation, you realize, like, you don't have to come up with dumb pickup lines. You can just be a human when you go out. But before I was, like, 21, 22, you got video from all the way back then? Yikes! There might be some things in there that I wouldn't like. Now, that qualifier, what would cost me a job?
See,
I don't think there would be anything. Like, again, just my attempts to talk to them. No, I don't think so. I don't think there'd be anything in there that would cost me a job. While I am I have settled quite a bit in my life. Like watching games, I love watching games with Rita. That's actually the only sad part about not doing the shows. This is the first time in like a decade that Rita and I haven't been in studio together watching games. Although we are together, of course, for Project Game Day. And join us this Sunday following Ravens-Lions, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, PressBoxOnline.com/GameDay. It's all brought to you by AJ Michaels, as well as HelpMyGamblingProblem.org and Superbook Sports. Myself, Rita, Femi Ayambadejo, and our cast of characters for Project Game Day every game day this season. I enjoy that. But when we were in studio together, you got to watch Rita watch the games. And there is nothing like that. There is nothing like it. I'm not like that. I get frustrated. I get, but I don't fly off the handle the way that I did when I was a young man. When I was a young man, in fact, and probably say with Maryland basketball until I was like 30. Maybe not that long with Maryland basketball. It's more, I've spent more of my life having to analyze the Ravens than I have as a fan of the Ravens. So, like, that one was easier for me to settle into, like, not flying off the handle the same way. I spent my childhood with the Orioles and Maryland basketball. Like, those are the things that I had as a child that mattered to me. So those are the ones that are more difficult. Now, Maryland basketball has been so irrelevant for so long that it just hasn't – it's not been the same. But if you were around me the year like that Corey Lucius hit the shot to beat him in the NCAA tournament, I probably said some terrible things. I probably said some would I lose a job over it? I mean, I do work at a lovely Jesuit school. I'm not sure that the father would be thrilled with the video going viral of me.
Glenn Clark screaming.
But would I lose a job over it? Yeah, I think I'm more likely to lose a job over that one than the other one. So I'm actually going to go with the interactions with women. And part of that is me personally. And maybe if somebody reminded me of an interaction I had when I was like 17, I'd be like, oh, God. Oh,
right.
no.
Okay, well, if you
take it all back.
If you take the career ramifications out of it, I think
No, you don't get to take the career ramifications out of it, Griffin. It's all part of it. Like, you have to consider all aspects of this. This is going to be all over the place. Tomorrow, this video of your worst moments, everyone's going to be talking about it. Everyone you know.
What if I just run away?
Then there'd definitely be career ramifications. I'm pretty sure you can't just show back up at Concordia Prep a couple weeks later like, hey, all's good now, right?
I might be able to.
I don't think it works that way. I don't think that's the case. So what's your answer?
I don't know. I guess I'll still lean with towards the sports.
All right.
My sports reactions.
Maybe you just need to get smoother, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe this is why you should have reached out to your girl Dixie D'Amelio. You should have tried to see if you could make that happen. You're sticking with your answer, Jake?
Yep.
All right, very good. Continue to get me your responses at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Someone who responds will be chosen as a winner for a T-shirt of their choice from our friends at Birdland Sports. Griffin, you want to tell everybody what's going on at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland?
Yes, I want to tell you about the second chance drawing that they got going on, which I wouldn't qualify for after last night. Some good Jacksonville State, of course. Rich Rodriguez drinking the Rich Rodriguez Kool-Aid.
You might, if you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Go to helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential service.
New York Islanders 60-minute money line over your.
You son of a bitch.
Your
you
Coyotes.
1-11 in their last road games against the Islanders. So.
Yep, knew it.
Not great.
Without a doubt. Well,
if there's any team that I'm not emotional about, it is sure AF, the Arizona Coyotes, baby. Now, when they were good, that was not the case. I was in a bad place, man. When they were in the Western Conference Finals
That's right.
How many years ago
that
was that?
Wasn't too long ago.
It was like 6 or 7 years ago.
I guess it was
7, 8 years ago, maybe. I was shoveling bags of craisins down my throat. It was a bad time, bro. It was not good. I was not handling it well. But today, totally checked out. Totally checked out. In fact, if I would have thought about it, I would have bet on the Islanders last night too.
If luck wasn't on your side at a recent bets at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, get ready to turn those losses into winning opportunities with the second chance to win promotion. Between now and January 4th, 2024, all Live Casino and Hotel Maryland Rewards members will be able to enter their losing bet slips into the second chance to win drum. And 2 nights a week, 20 different winners will be chosen. Prizes ranging from Live Casino and Hotel Maryland apparel, sports and social, ultimate happy hour prizes, cash, and free play worth up to $500. Drawings will be held every Thursday and Monday at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We'll get a tidbit. We'll get 2 bit to wrap it up. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now. On the cover, Todd Karpovich profiles the Orioles' survivors, Anthony Santander, Austin Hayes, Cedric Mullins, and Ryan Mountcastle, who all came from the previous regime but stuck through tough times to be key pieces in guiding the franchise back to prominence. Also inside, we remember the iconic Brooks Robinson with tributes from Jim Henneman and myself, Stan the Fan Charles, and a trip down memory lane to remember the most significant moments of his career. Plus, we meet players from college basketball programs around the state. PressBox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
The Baltimore County Police Department is now hiring with competitive salaries, including for experienced police officers, starting salaries between over $68,000 and over $82,000 based on your prior service time, accepting up to 7 years of service times with only 6 weeks in the academy, minimum of 2 years prior experience. And police cadet starting salaries at over $32,000 must be between the ages of 18 and 20, but you can apply starting at 17 and a half. Must have a high school diploma or GED equivalent at the time of the hire, U.S. citizen at the time of the hire, and a valid driver's license. So if you have a passion for service and want a career for life, now is the time to join the Baltimore County Police Department. Call 410-887-5542 or visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Visit Harford County this fall. Celebrate arts across Harford September 15th through the 30th with dance, theater, music, and visual arts. September 29th through October 1st is the largest Italian festival in Maryland, featuring entertainment, cooking demonstrations, a bocce tournament, and family fun. If you're headed to the Maryland 5-Star, stay and play in Harford County. While you're there, enjoy the scenic views atop the King and Queen seats and experience pumpkin patches, corn mazes, and fall brews along their Harford Libation Trail. For more info, head to visitharford.com. Maryland open.
Picking a restaurant to try for the first time? Let's look at the Costas Inn. Here's a few checklist items. Quality of the food? Check. Quality of service? Check. Does restaurant have plenty of free parking? Check. And finally, does restaurant have delicious steamed crabs, crab cakes, crab soup, and specials galore? Check, check, check. Costas Inn, 4100 North Point Boulevard. They check all the boxes.
6 chicken tenders made from fresh, never frozen Royal Farms world-famous chicken, a family-sized order of Western fries, honey mustard dipping sauce, and a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper. It's Royal Farms' new Tucker's Tenders Meal. It's Justin Tucker's favorite, and at only $19.99, it'll be your favorite meal, too. The new Tucker's Tenders Meal, available only at Royal Farms. Now you can kick back, relax, and eat like a champion. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
Come for a game, stay for everything else. Book an unforgettable fall getaway in Charm City. Enjoy only in Baltimore festivals, mouthwatering eats, and endless entertainment. Treat yourself to a staycation in the heart of downtown, or try one of the city's many charming neighborhood hotels. And don't miss out on packages for free parking, breakfast, and more. Plan your stay at baltimore.org/hotels.
Don't forget about Project Game Day after every Ravens game this season. It's kind of like this show, except Rita's also there, so I actually think it's pretty good. But hey, you're already here now, so why don't you go ahead and keep listening to GCR.
Yep, we got to have the microphone on when we come back from break. We got to tighten that up. If you're going to learn something today, Jake, then when I say it's time to go to break, we got to be ready to play the break. And when it's time to come out of the break, you got to have the microphone.
It's the middle of a read.
You got to be able to do both. Griffin,
understand.
it's not a, there's no, that's not a, nope. This is millennial BS. You got to be capable of doing both. That's the way the world works, right? Like, we all got to be able to do multiple things. All right, let's wind down for today's show. We'll get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
Monday marked the first time ever that this is hardly a real stat, but it was the first time ever that a metro area won on the road in the MLB postseason and on Monday Night Football on the same day.
I don't know how many times there were opportunities for
Right.
that, but
as the Rangers and the Cowboys, of course, both won on Monday night. Phillies, over their last 4 games, they have hit 3 home runs off of the starting pitcher in over each of their last 4 games. 3 home runs off A.J. Smith-Shawver, I think that's how it is, and then Spencer Strider, Zach Allen, and Merrill Kelly last night. They are the second team in MLB history to hit 3 home runs off of a single pitcher in 4 straight games, regular or postseason. They join the 1894 Chicago Colts.
that was actually my next guess. That was what you don't know is that I've got a deep trove of Chicago Colts information, right?
Right. So you know the 4 pitchers then that
Oh
they hit
God, it was all Dizzy Head Batson.
Close. Tom Lovett.
It was hang on a second. It was Porcupine Face Jones.
Jack Stivitz.
Okay. Was that one? Oh God. Now was Trail Leader Johnson? Was he one of them?
Joette Meekin was one of them.
Right.
And Kid Nichols.
Oh, Kid Nichols. Yeah.
Those were the 4
Love their work.
victims
Love
in
their
those
work.
4 games for the Chicago Colts.
I believe they were also a band. I'm pretty sure
Kid
that the
Nichols?
4 of them. Go ahead.
In 8 games this postseason, the Phillies are slugging .575 and holding their opponents to a slugging percentage of just .241. Only one other MLB team in the modern era has had a stretch of 8 games where they had a higher slugging percentage and held opponents to a lower slugging percentage. The 1939 Yankees in a stretch in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear
It's
they
the
were
only
good.
time that
I
this
hear they
is-
had some good hitters.
Only time that a team has ever been, I guess, hotter, you could say,
Yeah.
than the Phillies are right now. And with his 2 home runs last night, Kyle Schwarber now has 10 home runs in the league championship series in his career. It is tied for the second most in postseason history. Who has the most? And let's do the
in
LCS history.
In their careers.
In their
the
careers.
most LCS home runs.
We'll
in their
do the
careers.
top 6, so 5 more.
So this is a little bit different because it doesn't have to be modern because the LCS obviously has been around since 69, 69, right? 69 because the Orioles won the first 3 ALCSs.
Wow.
Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson is not in the top 6.
Mr. October. Jake, you can guess too.
Only 6. I'm looking for guys with
what a
9
what
or
a
more home
bum.
runs. Only 6.
The Orioles are right to get rid of him. Manny Ramirez.
Manny Ramirez is number 1. Most home runs in LCS history, 13. Schwarber tied for second with 10.
Should I guess Bernie Williams just because it came up on that last
You
list?
should guess Bernie Williams. He has 9.
Wish I hated
Top
Bernie
6.
Williams more than I do. I really wish that I had more hatred in my heart for Bernie Williams. LCS. Gary Sheffield.
Gary Sheffield is not in the top 6.
Uh,
Not sure how many Sheffield had.
all right.
Pretty low.
Oh, all right. So F me, huh?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Dynamite observations, Jake. You're killing it in this one. You're
I'm trying to
you're
think.
doing a great job. How about Mike Schmidt?
Mike Schmidt is not on the list here.
All right.
Yeah.
Albert Pujols.
Albert Pujols
That's a
has
good
10.
guess.
He is
That's a good
tied.
guess.
He is
Thank you
tied
for-
with Kyle Schwarber. 10 LCS home runs. So you have the top 3 plus Bernie, 2 more.
How about try to think of guys that have been on our other lists recently. How about Beltran?
Not Beltran.
How about
So it is one that has been on most of our other lists, and then one that has not been on our other lists
one that's
because
been
of
on most of our other lists because you
how
got to go
long-
back
yeah.
further. One that's been on most of our other lists. I can't remember now. Jim Thome.
not Jim Thome. He has 6. Only 6. LCS.
Sucks. How does he show his face? Like, should just move. You know what I mean? Like just Taiwan or something. Get the hell out. 6 LCS home runs. Or even did you even baseball, bro? God. Alex Rodriguez.
Not Alex Rodriguez. He has 7.
Ryan Howard.
Not Ryan Howard.
Is it all right? Is it a Philly?
It's not a Philly.
Is it a Red Sox?
Not a Red
Is
Sox.
it a Yankee?
Not a Yankee.
Cardinal.
Who's still active?
Who's still? He's still
alive in these playoffs.
Currently alive in these playoffs.
Yeah.
Is it Jose Altuve?
Jose Altuve, yes. 9 home runs for Jose Altuve.
And then the other one is we got to go back away. Is it a Met?
It is not a Mets.
Is it a Philly?
Not a Philly.
Is it a Red?
Not a Red.
Is it an Oriole?
Not an Oriole.
Is it a Brave?
No.
A Brewer?
No.
We stink. Is it
you
a
don't
Dodger?
No. Once I give the team, you'll know it.
Is it a Royal?
It is a Royal.
Is it George Brett?
It is George Brett.
I just don't associate George Brett with lots of associate
LCS
him
moments.
with pine tar, pretty much. Is what you
9
associate
home runs.
George Brett with.
Kike Hernandez has 8.
How about that?
Which is interesting.
How about that?
Nelson Cruz is 8. Beltran had 8 as well.
So 8 should have been the cutoff. 8's the important number because you get to
Well, then
you get
there
to real
would've been-
ball players
right.
then.
Yeah.
You get to the real guys at that point.
Corey
Everything
Seager
else
already
before
at
that.
7.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
pretty impressive. But as you said earlier, he's not really trying.
No.
He's not. Bryce Harper, that's a guy who wants
Well,
it. Corey Seager is
you
just
line up Corey Seager and Bryce
Not
Harper.
even a guy to know.
Corey Seager is just along for the ride. Hey everybody, I'm Corey. just taking it all
He's
in.
getting carried by Nathan Uvalde, yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is. All right, Totally Tubular is brought to you by the Baltimore County Police Department. Again, Saturday, October 28th, for a hiring and community event. Opportunity for you to go through all the process, the application, the written test, the agility test, all of that. If you're thinking about a career in the Baltimore County Police Department, but also if you're not thinking about a career in the Baltimore County Police Department, just looking for like a fun place to go out, do a trunk or treat with your kids, they'll do all of that on Saturday, October 28th, the Baltimore County Police Department at the Public Safety Building, 700 East Joppa Road. Find out more, join BaltimoreCountyPD.com or call 410-887-5542. Here's what's coming up this evening. Game 3 as the series shifts to Dallas, or Arlington. Thank you. For Game 3 of the ALCS, Astros and Rangers, as we said earlier, Christian Javier against Max Scherzer just after 8 o'clock on FS1. The New York Liberty try again to close out the WNBA Finals as they take on Vegas tonight at 8.
Is Vegas up or is
Sorry, the other way
Yeah,
around. The New York,
yeah.
sorry, that's exactly right. Vegas tries again to close out the New York Liberty. Words. It's another thing to write down. Learn. Say things correctly. Don't just butcher everything that you're doing. 8 o'clock on ESPN for Game 4 tonight. Capitals at the Senators tonight at 7 o'clock on Monumental. Penguins, Red Wings, 7:30 on TNT. Some college football that Griffin will be betting on despite knowing nothing about it.
Sam Houston is favored tonight.
CBS Sports Network, Florida International, Sam Houston at 7.
They're 0-6.
ESPN 2, New Mexico. How bad is Florida International?
I don't know. They're 3-4 in the season. I don't know what happened then.
New Mexico State, UTEP at 9. Round 1 of whatever the PGA Zozo. Oh, that's the one in Japan because it starts at 11 p.m. tonight. The PGA
why Drew couldn't
Zozo
make it.
Championship. Yeah, he couldn't be in today because he's got to prepare his sleep schedule to watch this nonsense golf tournament. I don't even know if it has a real field. Although I feel like this one actually has a field because, like, the Japanese pay money to get the players to come out and participate in this one. The Wizards play a preseason game tonight at 7:30 against the Knicks on Monumental 2. TBS for AEW Dynamite at 8. Everything else everything else sports-wise, find at GlennClarkRadio.com. Non-sports, besides the Talking Heads.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
Probably
Talking
should have led with
Heads.
that. The Talking Heads are on Colbert.
Daniel Caesar will be the musical guest for Colbert, while the Talking Heads are the guests.
That's sad.
I
I mean, like, I have no offense to Daniel Caesar. He's talented, but, like, come on.
Survivor, of course.
Yes, of course.
And otherwise, not Martin Scorsese's going to be on Kimmel. If that,
Promoting
if that-
what?
I don't know. Probably just
He's not allowed
Probably
to-
just to talk.
I guess directors still allowed
They're just
to.
going to do, like, I guess, glorified podcast now, essentially. You know, just have interesting people on.
I guess that's what they're going to have to do. I don't know.
We are into the quarterfinals of Celebrity Jeopardy. Shane Battier is
Sure.
on Celebrity Jeopardy.
I'm good. I'm good, though.
Yeah, the rest go to Glenn.
I bumped into that guy at the Louisville airport once.
Shane Battier.
And he was very nice. And, like, Shane Battier among Duke players is actually one of the few that I, like, respected at the time because he was just a damn good player. Like, he wasn't a whiny bitch. Like, he was just a hell of a basketball player. And I remember I bumped into him. We were literally renting – we were at the Kentucky Derby the same year. We were renting cars at the same counter. And I realized who it was, and I was, like, kind of smarmy about it. Like, I don't like Duke. I don't want to talk to Shane Battier.
Hate shirk.
Yeah, like, go F yourself, Shane Battier. And then he turns around and he's like, God, it's taking forever, right? Like, he just starts a conversation with me, and I'm like, Yeah, Shane Battier, I'm frustrated about this too. He was very nice. I didn't tell him that I hated him. I did. I think I said something like,
you're a Maryland fan,
I did say, I'm like, the irony of this. And he was like, I'm from Maryland. I'm a radio host up there. Like, part of my shtick is how much I hate Duke. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, big time. And I told him, I'm like, I wish I hated you like as much as I hate some of the other guys. And he was having fun with it. He's like, who do you hate? I'm like, come on, man. He's like, Reddick? Yep. He's like, that makes sense. He was a really good guy. Like, I was not proud of the fact that I was pleasant with Shane Battier. Like, afterwards, I'm like, I wish I could tell a story. Like, I spit at him. Like,
slash his tires, rental car
I don't
tires.
really think that I should have done that. I want to make that abundantly clear. All right, very good. Everything else, GlennClarkRadio.com. Jake, where are you on the socials?
Jake Shindel on Twitter.
That's Shindel, right?
Correct.
Jake Shindel on Twitter. And you cover Towson men's basketball this season?
I do.
So you're a Towson fan. Give Jake a follow. He'll be getting you would call him Jakey Scoops. He'll be getting you all your information during Towson basketball season. How you feel about Towson this year?
I honestly have no idea where they're going to be. They got Nenda Tark from Coppin State, so local.
He's a hell of a
guy.
player.
Yeah, so their defense, and then Charles Thompson, only remaining captain from last year. So their defense should be among the best that they've had in the last decade.
Maybe it'd be better this year that nobody expects them to win anything because they didn't handle that very much.
No,
they didn't handle the expectations quite so well. Maybe it'll be nicer to come in middle of the road and catch everybody by surprise. All right, appreciate you hanging out with us. Appreciate your hard work. Maybe we'll see you in here again at some point this semester. Thanks today to Lomas Brown.
Yes.
Thanks to Terry Hasseltine. We'll get that and the Tyus Bowser Show with Jadeveon Clowney up in the greatest hits section of the
Oh, my God, it's so good.
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Really?
Working on it.
Oh, no. This is bad. This is as bad as it gets. We will make picks tomorrow.
Yes.
KZ will join us. And I believe that football and rugby player Nate Ebner is going to join the show. I had reached out to him when we heard that the Ravens were practicing with rugby balls, and everybody thought that was the reason why they dropped everything in Pittsburgh, and like Rex Ryan was going off about it. I was like, well, if there's someone that might know about this, it would be Nate Ebner. So I reached out to him, and then it just didn't happen until this week, and they were like, do you still want to do this? And I'm like, kind of not really a story anymore, but Nate Ebner's great. I guess let's do it anyway. So I think we're going to talk to Nate Ebner tomorrow. I don't even know if they're still practicing with they might have put the rugby balls away for all I know, but we'll talk to him about it and see if there's anything there. All right, thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, the Maryland 5-Star, AJ Michaels, Guilford Hall Brewery, the Baltimore County Police Department, Royal Farms, Costas Inn, Superbook Sports, Hartford County, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday night. Do we care about anything? No, we don't.
Nah.
Go nobody. Duke sucks.